Welcome to another edition of Mass, Mats, and Mayhem. I am your host, Justin Harvey. You can find me on Twitter at JustinHarvey75, or you can email us at mmmshow75@gmail.com. These are my co-hosts. I'm going to give them both credit for being co-hosts this week since everyone showed up for work last week. Woo! We got the Lucha Gringo, Casey Nielsen, right over here at Lucha Gringo.
At Lucha Gringo.
And what's the... he wasn't here that week, and I kind of forgot.
His name is Byron.
His name is Mark Turk.
Yes. Byron, at Byron Fever on Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat.
Byron Saxton on Twitter.
No, that messes with me, though, when everyone talks trash about Byron Saxton whenever I watch WWE.
I like how we can get drops of JBL saying "Shut up, Byron" on all the pay-per-views.
Yeah, I can't watch WWE because of that now.
That's horrifying. I'm going to jump right into it because we might lose, just so you guys know, we might lose Casey a little early today. Yay. Don't cry. Don't be upset. I know he's your favorite out of the three of us, but you'll live. You'll get over it. I have a
business meeting to attend.
So we're going to give you some prime Casey action before he leaves, and we're going to talk about a fuckload of stuff today. And guess what? I can now officially say fuckload on this podcast because we said fuck so many times last week that we are now marked explicit on iTunes and SoundCloud. So
did we say it?
Welcome to the fuck show.
Fuck yeah, you're welcome.
Did we say that, Justin?
We said fuck a couple hundred times last week, I think. I was even a little worse than normal. Mm-hmm. I'm normally very good with my expletives, and I try not to curse too much just because I like to stay employed.
Right.
But since I'm looking for a job right now, fuck it. Anyway, hire me, Lucha Underground. So here we go. We're going to talk right now about the hands down most important thing this week. No, it's not as if is the UFC for sale. It's not as Conor McGregor fighting Floyd Mayweather. It's not EC3 cutting promos and Evolve. It's not whatever happened on WWE, because that really wasn't important. Mm-hmm. What we're going to talk about first, before we even get into the episode review, who the hell is Lord Big Boss on Lucha fucking Underground? Who is this fucking guy? I want to know. I want to know.
Me too.
We all have theories.
Yeah.
There's a lot of theories floating around out there. Now, before we get into this conversation, I will say that I am approaching this from a no spoilery standpoint. We know of some people that it could possibly be that have already been in Lucha from tapings, but I don't want to go too far down that road because I don't know if that's even the case. I think this could be a completely backstage thing that even the Lucha Underground higher-ups have kept away from the fans in the temple. It might not be. It could be a wrestler that we've seen come to the temple, but I'm hoping, and I said it last week on this show, I threw out the Arnold thing too. I know J-Man threw it out. We kind of did it simultaneously.
Yeah.
There's reasons to believe that with Melissa Santos being on Celebrity Apprentice and, the involvement of the production companies along with that show, that it could possibly be Arnold.
And he likes cigars.
But at the same time, even for the big bosses of Lucha Underground as a TV show, Arnold is still a pretty big get, and I'm sure they paid him a ton of money to be on Celebrity Apprentice that is probably not afforded to them in the Lucha Underground budget. So just because there might be some inside connections that J-Man and I both think might get that done, who the fuck knows? That's a big get.
But having him in the room for the Apprentice show, for the other show, it's a lot easier to get him to slip on over to the temple for an afternoon.
I'd say you just run in there with cameras and start filming him and say, hey, Arnold, you're going to be Lord Big Boss on Lucha Underground. I mean, look, here's the thing. Here's the clues, okay? The cigar. Mm-hmm. Okay, I thought it might be Hornswoggle at first, but the hand holding the cigar was not quite the right size.
And the gloves.
Right, but there's gloves.
Like Terminator gloves, like leather gloves. Maybe?
Nah.
Which is good because you can't determine skin color, so we can take race out of this altogether. This really could be anyone, folks. Most likely a man. It looked like man hands.
Yeah, and plus, this could have just been a stand-in and not the person it ends up being. So,
it would be a stand-in for the shot, but...
Well, depending.
Never know. You never know. I mean, maybe you want to get Lorenzo Lamas up there with another big star just to have them vibe, and maybe they shot more than one segment at once while they were both available.
If they shot all the stuff on the day, which would make sense.
You guys are going to be so mad when it's Big Rick.
I really think...
Well,
No.
he's dead, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything in Lucha Underground, does it?
No, they could do like some swirly cloud effects and have his skull pop off the chair or whatever. But I think it could be Face from A-Team.
What's that guy's
Dirk
name?
Benedict.
Dirk Benedict.
Yeah, but not like the Brad Cooper one, the older one.
Oh, yeah.
Dirk Benedict.
Yeah.
The original Dirk
Yeah,
Benedict. Yeah.
I
wanna
would
make
hire
sure.
him. I'd hire anyone from the A-Team except for George Papard because he's dead.
It'd be great if they brought Mr. T on just to talk about his mother.
Okay, but here's why it wouldn't be Face, because he wasn't the one that smoked the cigars. That was George
That was
Papard.
Hannibal.
Yeah, and he's dead.
Yeah, George Papard is no longer with
hold
us.
on,
that was
on.
my favorite Halloween costume in college, by the way. I would just put on a leather jacket,
Oh,
smoke a
no.
cigar, and say I was Hannibal from the A-Team.
Yeah,
Love it when
I-
a
I'm
plan
lazy.
comes together.
I love it when a plan comes together.
I had the visual of Hannibal in my head, but I was thinking of the name actually Mask at first. And so then I had to like Wikipedia, like who was that guy on A-Team? And then it was Face. I'm like, okay, glad I didn't send this tweet too soon. But apparently I've been making the wrong A-Team joke for like half a week already.
This is amazing, people. You heard it here first. Byron has been making the wrong A-Team joke publicly for over a week. And that's why we keep him on this show, guys. You got me. I'm just a fun-loving host. You got Casey. He knows a shit ton about wrestling. And then you got Byron, who is the only person on the planet that could do that.
Yeah. I mean, it's on Netflix, dude. Maybe we should like throw in an episode of A-Team review each week.
Are you not
I'd be down.
entertained, people? Are you not entertained? This is real gladiator warfare right
I used
here.
to watch the show when I was a kid. They would jump over the camera for explosions.
Which is great. So let's look at who it could possibly be. Is Flamita an option? I mean, we talked about it on our show a few weeks ago, and actually it's very funny. A lot of people commented that they did not know that Flamita history and story. I guess we have a lot of more American fans that don't necessarily follow AAA, and even if they do watch AAA, they may not know backstage drama or whatever. So
Bunch
a lot
of fucking weros.
a lot of people were very intrigued by that information and that whole rundown of that story. But now that Flamita / non-Octagon Jr. is potentially available, is there any possibility, because that just happened and this stuff has been filmed and planned probably for a while, is there any possibility it's Flamita?
I don't know, but I have a couple, like the way that Lorenzo Lamas was looking at him, right?
Flamita's also pretty young to be a lord.
Yeah.
Somebody's my lord.
I
But he
think-
could be some reincarnated supernatural angel creature. They said, here's the thing I thought that was interesting of what Lorenzo Lamas, Councilman Delgado, said in the first segment. He said, after his dissension, not ascension, so he's not coming up from hell necessarily. He said, after his dissension, he's coming to the temple. I don't know what that means, but I would think that that's a carefully scripted line. You know, Lorenzo's a great actor. He is not going to shoot and make stuff up in his promo work. He's going to read the lines. And if somebody wrote that, that means that this character is coming down from somewhere.
It's one of the gods.
Coming down from on high. Yeah, maybe this is an Aztec god or something. And maybe it's a character we haven't seen. The problem I find with that is, of course, that having been to some tapings and everything, I can't think of a character that would be that.
No, that's what's weird. Like we aren't acting like we don't know and that we're not like working you here. Like we have no fucking idea who this is.
Yeah. So,
Which is cool.
I mean, that's the best way to keep a huge part of the show spoiler free is to not even like shoot it until like a few weeks or whatever, a month before air date. You know?
yeah. And that, I mean, and people have talked about a couple of wrestlers that have debuted that it could be. I will personally say, without saying who those wrestlers are, that I don't feel like their storylines and where they went would really lead to them really being that character, unless those characters also had a ton of backstage stuff that we're not seeing. So even if it is one of the wrestlers that debuted, there's a ton of backstage segments to bolster this whole storyline that I don't think anyone has seen. So you can predict away that it's one of those wrestlers all day long just because they premiered. But I don't think that the feuds that those wrestlers have been in really make sense for this storyline. That's the reason why I'm kind of dismissing the one major theory that's out there from people who have been at tapings.
I think
And you guys know what that theory is.
Yeah. I don't think that's what's happening. Also, I do want to say that I think that it's someone that either wears a mask or has a fucked up face because Renegade was not looking at him and seemed very uncomfortable to do so.
Interesting.
That's possible.
That's my theory. Or it's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Or I mean, he just didn't want to. He didn't want to look his boss in the eye.
Now, if it is Schwarzenegger too, the thing I find interesting about that is he says he's going to come down to the temple. But no one has seen Schwarzenegger at the temple, and that's not a spoiler, folks. There has been no Arnold sighting at the actual temple.
Because I would lose my shit and
Yeah.
beg everyone on
Now,
the show
that doesn't
to let
mean
me
they
meet him.
couldn't
would
film
know.
something off on the side or whatever,
Yeah.
but if they want it to be in front of the crowd and everyone there, and that would be really hard to keep out of spoilers. So
Yeah.
maybe it would be down at the temple in Dario's office or standing at the urinal in the bathroom, because that seems to happen from time to time on this show.
Yeah.
Oh, in the bathroom.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting if they waited until this show aired to shoot anything in the temple with a crowd, and then they shoot.
So you think we could get something this next taping, or maybe one of the next couple tapings?
I don't think so.
That's an interesting idea,
But
but-
it'd be a way to try and protect, like, the biggest secret of Lucha Underground is to have Arnold off or on camera, but away from the crowd until it airs, and then you shoot all of your pickups this weekend for season 2, and also for whatever they would need of him for season 3.
Now, I had heard some theories from some people that it could be Vampiro. I don't buy that, being that he was the maestro the last year.
Yeah, it's like, how many personalities are you going to give him?
Yeah, and that's just...
Oh, he's super busy.
And he doesn't seem like an overlord type. His character's never been that. That doesn't really seem like it would fit to me. I had also heard, what if it's Pentagon Jr.? I do think that they need to get Pentagon back into this title picture after, his rehabilitation from the hover round with Vampiro, the candle wax rehabilitation.
He's still on the ground.
So,
He might be still on the ground.
What's Spanish for my back hurts?
yeah, whatever Vampiro's saying right now to him. Yeah. So, I don't know. I think it's very interesting. We shall see if any of these theories pan out. But again, I am going to go against the trend of saying it's that certain someone that has debuted in Lucha Underground already. I'm against that. I don't think that that's the case.
And I don't think it's someone that got fired for posting spoilers.
Oh.
Because I think they would have scrapped the whole thing if that was the case. So
Or maybe that was originally the case and then they had to reset it.
maybe. Who
Oh,
knows?
that's super interesting.
Now, the other theory that I'm going to float to you guys right now, and I hate this theory, because if this is true, me and E-Dub and DJ and Roach, we're going to have to talk, because I'll be hurt to my parts. What if it's Daivari?
I don't know. He wasn't drinking a cup full of piss, so I don't think it was.
Has he ever been
true.
known to smoke cigars in his rich kid gimmick?
No, he just drinks.
No, yeah.
I mean, like, and honestly, to me, Marty the Moth right now is such a better version of the trust fund kid gimmick than Daivari ever was. But
Daivari was okay, but everything he was doing was just okay. Whereas most everyone else that you're paying attention to on Lucha, even if they're at the okay level, they're on a trajectory upward.
right,
Like Marty started off as whatever, but he's going to end up just destroying people's minds, even more than he already has.
yeah. I mean, dude, the kid works hard. He bumps like crazy. He sells amazing. Like, some guys will take a great bump, but then they're so busy taking the bump they barely remember how to sell the bump.
Yeah.
Marty will simultaneously just take a sick, stupid bump that like people just shouldn't do. Like kids, don't try what Marty does at home. It's just not good for you. But then the way he sells and the expressions, and then he's always reconnecting with the other talent in the ring. He always knows where they are. Like his ring awareness and mat generalship or whatever is phenomenal. Like he is really, really on a game at this point. And I'm getting off on a tangent on Marty, but every time somebody talks about him, I feel inspired to say something great about Marty, because he's been entertaining the hell out of me every time I see him on TV, every time we see him live.
It's going to be hard to boo him because you can see the effort he's putting into it.
I will boo the shit out of him just because he works so hard to earn those damn boos.
Yeah, like Jack.
Yeah, Jack.
We love
Evans.
Jack, but we'll boo his
And
ass.
Johnny,
all
I'll
day.
give Johnny Mundo that credit too.
Yeah.
I still have a little trouble booing Taya. I can't. have
So does
trouble
everyone.
bringing myself to boo Taya ever. I don't care if she's working a heel angle. It's hard for me.
Yeah. I want to give a quick shout out to Melissa for always keeping a straight face when Marty's around her. That has to be one of the hardest things.
Yeah, how does she do that? Oh, man.
And I want to give a shout out to Marty's parents who got a nice chant at the last tapings.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so cool that they came out, huh?
Yeah.
And I want to give a shout out to my homeboys at Tommy Boy Records. Release the Hounds.
I'm going to give a shout out to Matt Stryker, who you guys won't ever see this on TV, but during a dark match, he kind of played the Melissa Santos role. And Marty did the same gimmick to Stryker, which was
tremendous.
You think it's creepy when it's Melissa? You can imagine yourself doing the same thing if it's Melissa. You can't imagine yourself doing the same thing if it's Matt Stryker. So
Well, some
I
of
just
us can't.
big props to Matt for taking the creepy bump.
That was great.
Yeah.
All right, so I think we've kind of talked that to the bone, but that's a couple of segments from this show. I mean, you got your opening segment, which.
Yeah.
Well, that was the show. That was like the TV show portion of it, which was huge.
Oh, you forgot
and,
Cuerno. Very important. See, that's what was cool about this week is it was like a mix between having enough matches to consider it still a wrestling show and have the backstage segments. So Cuerno is hunting down Mil Muertes.
Which is so awesome.
And
So
Katrina.
awesome. And Katrina.
And they set that angle up, backstage when Cuerno actually full on cut a promo on Katrina. Was that last week or 2 weeks ago? Whatever.
Yeah.
But
Something like that.
it's and again, this is some stuff that we've never seen. Now, and I'm gonna fast forward quickly to the end of Grave Consequences. The big thing at the end of the match is Cuerno being one of the pallbearers and taking off the hood.
Yeah. Which we
Did
didn't
anybody
fucking see.
in the crowd even see that? That's amazing that they have this big finale spot and this reveal, and they didn't even show the audience, even though they filmed it 4 feet away from the crowd. That was
filmed
amazing
it
to me.
live.
We thought
That's
it
a big
was
deal.
Yeah, we thought it was Sinestro because it would make sense.
Right.
Because Sinestro's the last disciple that's left, and he would have carried him out. So
So all the crowd saw, people, was just the back of somebody lifting a hood off their head, and you see the back of a mask. You probably couldn't, maybe a few people could have told it was Cuerno if they were looking, but there was still stuff happening kind of ringside behind him. And, I just thought that was kind of cool and creepy and weird. And Cuerno stalking them in in their lair as well.
big reveal there too.
Well, we'll get to
Yeah.
that in a second because
Yeah.
I want to go back to the very first Dario and Renegade segment, as I call it. That's their new tag team, Dario and Renegade. Dario hands him the fat stack. We don't find out how much until the end, but he is paying money to this guy.
Which makes sense.
$50,000. Does it make sense?
He's running a underground fighting
Right.
whatever company business.
Right.
It kind of when you try to place that in a real world, it makes sense that it's integrated into the real world like that. Like it's
Oh, and I agree. And I said there should be some gambling angles and stuff to
Yeah.
this too,
Yeah.
like to keep it seedy. Like why the hell else would you open underground fighting? Let's be honest, people. You don't open underground fighting. Like shit, even Bodog, when they had MMA, they did it offshores because their whole thing was gambling and betting. I mean, they were trying to do it a little more in the up and up, but they were basically taking the principle of underground fighting and trying to make it legit for the purpose of gambling. That's where Bodog was making their money, people. It wasn't on the fucking gate or the pay-per-views from Chael Sonnen's third fight, back in whatever, back in the day. So I think that, I guess the money makes sense. And now I think it makes even more sense after the bomb that Delgado drops on him about the fact that there's cops. He's been infiltrated. Dario has not known this information until now. And this is the scene where Dario has now gotten a real clue from somebody he supposedly should trust. I mean, this guy's a councilman. That's the whole reason you have a councilman in your pocket is to have juice with the city.
Yeah.
He's got the inside info. But he doesn't give up who they are. Does Delgado not know who the undercovers are? He's only dealt with Captain Hotness. Is that correct?
So far that we've seen, yeah. But if I'm paying someone $50,000, they better open up some fucking files and tell me who the cops are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy how many people in the show, how many people are affected by even that one scene. You have You have that 3-way match. Everyone there's affected. You have Dario Matanza. You have I don't know, just so many people.
Well,
Dragon
Dragon Azteca, which brings in Ray, which brings also now Puma, because they're a team. It's just they're shooting these backstage or vignettes, or that's an outdated term. They're shooting these scenes. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I say vignettes because I don't know necessarily what else to call them sometimes. But let me slide this way. Sure. So, but. I mean, yeah, they're scenes. They're cinemas. They're like cinemas in old video games. Where
it's a cinematic.
It's a cinematic.
It's like a cutscene or something. But they're not exclusive from the in-ring action.
Right.
It involves almost the whole roster, and especially everyone you're going to see fighting on that episode.
Right, and I'm just so surprised. And honestly, I will say that they did not do that good a job with these in the first season. They were cool, but it was kind of like, oh, let's shoot something cinematic with some guys brawling backstage just so we can shoot it differently.
The spinny thing with Patron and Johnny Mundo.
Yeah.
Makes you fall out of your chair.
It's just, I mean, some of it was funny and entertaining, and it still made the show more fun to watch than other shows, but at the same time, it was not what they're doing with storytelling now. You know, this is masterful storytelling and interweaving of stories, and then you have to take into consideration these poor writers have to write this stuff not knowing if wrestlers are going to go to some other league or if somebody's going to get hurt, or like you have so many other factors. This is not just writing an hour drama where you know who your cast is going to be for 3 seasons in a row.
Yeah, you got to watch out for those LBIs. They ruin your whole...
Oh, that cracked me up. Lower body injuries. Really? LBIs? Is that really a thing?
Is death box a thing?
I guess not.
I love that.
Put him in the death box.
It's like, whoa, okay, necrophiliac.
So, I mean, I guess that first segment, that's all that comes out of it. And I'm going to go into quickly since we're talking about Councilman Delgado a little bit, the cops and robbers 3-way, as I like to call it. Super quick match. And I'm going to say, and this is hard for me to say, people, but I think this was probably the worst match in the last 5 episodes.
Oh, it was 30 seconds long.
It was kind of a non-match.
Well, exactly. And I'm not saying that this is a bad thing, because I also like straightforward matches sometimes, and I think that this can set up some other backstage drama, and it's honestly amazing to me. And I won't even say this is a bad match at all. It's just probably the most straightforward, regular, quick match that they've had. Even though they had a bunch of squashes, I think those squashes last week were more impactful in ways than this particular match. But I feel like there's more coming for this storyline anyway.
Yeah, have we seen Cisco in prison yet? I don't think we have. They showed it as like a preview image when they were showing the montage of what's coming up this season. You see him getting questioned in an orange jumpsuit.
Oh, really?
We haven't seen that shit yet.
And I think all that stuff's coming, but it's like, so I still like this match, but it was pretty much the most straightforward. It was a simple, not clean finish.
Yeah, Joey stole the win.
Quick, clean finish, but I mean, I like the quick roll up. This little schoolboy with the trunks pull.
Yeah.
You know, this is old school right here, guys.
And he's not even there as like a real fighter too. Like, that's another thing to look into. Like, he rolled up his partner, which is a lot different than him putting his finish on his partner and pinning him, you know?
Right.
Like, he's just trying to get in and out.
And poor Mr. Cisco just seems like he's just along for the ride here, huh?
Yeah.
Poor guy.
It's great, though, to see the crew as faces, and they get to hit a lot more high spot or a lot more action-packed, more exciting offense.
Well, I think Cisco's over. I mean, I don't know if as a character he's over, but as a wrestler, you know, as a luchador, he's certainly over in the crowd. Like, in the temple, everybody knows. Like,
I
Cisco
think,
has proven his worth.
I think this was the match that was on his birthday, and we were chanting happy birthday the whole time, too.
Maybe that's why they shortened it. They had to cut out all the...
Maybe because even Joey's like, oh, it's his birthday, and starts beating the shit out of him. I think that was this week.
But it was a good match. And then at the end... to see Joey, what he did with that medallion.
I hope that pouch is made out of penicillin.
Yeah, putting your medallion with your other jewels is not something
Somebody's going to have to wear that on their fucking belt.
Oh.
That's going to... Whoever wins the gift of the gods, let's hope it's Joey Ryan. Because it's infected now.
All right, so here's the Casey test, folks. Here's the Casey test. Who has medallions? Go.
All right, so we got Tejano.
Tejano.
We got Aerostar. We have Chavo, who stole one.
Which is Cage's.
Yeah, which
but
is
that counts
Cage's.
for one.
It's Chavo's.
Cage/Chavo.
Yeah, we've got Joey Ryan now. We've got Sinestro.
Sinestro de Muerte.
Yeah.
Sexy Star.
Yeah.
And we still have one.
This was 7.
No, that's
Last
6.
week we said 6.
Okay,
this week,
so
the 7th was 1.
Does Johnny Mundo have one? Or the Moth or Mariposa?
Mariposa lost.
Yeah, did the Moth win one? No, Willie Mack.
Willie
Mack
Mack
beat
has
the
the other
Moth.
one.
Yeah, okay.
Willie
so
Mack,
that's 7.
there it is.
That's 7 right there.
Yeah.
Return of
Don't
the
ask
Mac.
me to recap because I'll forget it
Return
again.
of the Mac.
You know, what's funny? The temple, the believers there, all the fans, they have pretty good rhythm. But I was watching.
No, they don't.
It's okay rhythm.
No. I personally look. Being one of the few brothers that comes to the temple. Listen up, Lucha Click, because we got to talk. The rhythm is terrible at the temple. First of all, the slow clap. The slow clap is supposed to start slow and build up, people, so that you can build up to hyping up the luchador for the big spot. A slow clap does not go that fast. Come on. Slow down the slow clap, people. Let's slow it down. And then, can we get some fucking rhythm on this Return of the Mac thing? That's a brother in there. You can't inspire him with bad rhythm. That shit is not going to happen. It's Return of the Mac, clap, clap. Return of the Mac, clap, clap. Get on the beat. People keep rushing that shit, and it's so white. It kills me. It kills my parts. Kills my parts. And this goes out to my Latino brothers in the house too. I know y'all got rhythm. I know it. It is not just the Lucha Gringo's fault, people.
Sorry.
He might be one of the whitest dudes in the temple, but y'all are just reinforcing it. Get him on rhythm. Get him on beat. Don't let him take you down that rabbit hole.
Help me.
Damn it.
Yeah,
Let's get it together, people. Let's get this rhythm together in the temple.
You saw me dancing at the beginning of the episode this week. You don't want none of that shit. Come on.
Oh my God. That dance was hilarious.
Oh, man. Yeah, if you see Alberto having trouble knowing when to clap, just help him out.
Please do.
If you don't know when to clap, just look for Justin or someone who looks like Justin in your section.
Look, if you look at me, by the time you look at me, I'm already going to be frustrated. I'm just going to be angry. I'm going to be standing there like, God damn, no rhythm having ass temple motherfucking. Anyway, so my 2 favorite shows on TV right now, both have like the hottest 200-year-old women around. It's kind of creeping me out. I feel a little bit like a perv.
You got it tight.
You're like, like the Helen Mirren kind of gilf thing is one thing. Like, there's certain grandmas that are hot, but like, why all the hot chicks got to be 200 years old, man? And I'm talking about the red woman from Game of Thrones as one of them, obviously.
Spoiler.
What? Everyone knows she's 200 from episode 2 of this season.
I'm in like
Game of
season
Thrones.
2 right now.
Well, that's not my fault. This information is 2 weeks old.
Sir.
Look, you have to understand. There is a window on Spoilerage.
Yeah.
Like once it's aired that everyone else has seen, like, and they're getting really high numbers. That means millions of people have already seen this, Byron.
Yeah.
Okay. The red woman is old. Yeah. You'll find out how and why later.
Oh, how do you know who that is?
That's good.
Yeah.
Then this won't
it's not
surprise
spoiling
you.
shit. You don't know who it is.
So
yeah, probably not going to watch
the
it.
red woman who gets naked. No, you'll watch it because she gets naked a lot, and it's really worth it. And
I'll be there.
It doesn't get creepy until you figure out later that she's like 200 years old. And I'm going to say the same thing about Katrina now. Oh my God. Why you got to be so old?
She's not 200, dude. She's 197.
197.
Don't add years to her age. She'll get mad at you.
That's rude.
I mean, I give her the credit for rounding up. Like, girl, you lasted 2 centuries.
Yeah.
That's a long time. Now, I will say this. If Lucha Underground is still on the air 3 years from now, we have to have a ridiculous 200th birthday party for Katrina.
That would be so great.
Like,
Leo just coming in with the big old
DJ,
cake.
you have to make that happen. I don't care if it's kayfabe or what. Like, there has to be a 200th birthday party for Katrina because that shit would be hilarious.
Someone tries to buy her a cake and she just fucking murders them. That'd be great.
That would be great.
I mean,
but that scene with her and Is it No.
But okay, so but I'm going to say this: she might even be older than 197 years because the way she said it, she said she's been a prisoner. She said she's been a prisoner for 197
So that means
years.
she's been dead that long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we don't know the story of how or why. I'm going to assume probably one of the other rival Aztec tribes has done this to her in the distant past. But I will just say that for a 200-year-old woman, her sense of fashion has really kept up with the times.
She's really good at picking out what to wear.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Can I do a weird Casey conspiracy theory?
Yeah,
Since I
go
gotta
for
in
it.
like 15 minutes. The one to stop Katrina is Aerostar. So you
Aerostar.
can go back in time and make it so that she doesn't get killed or her soul.
Well,
doesn't
I mean, I think that
Aerostar can
I think he
stop
could
anyone.
release her, and then she could have a face turn.
Yeah, but see, then she might just like turn into dust or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a risky gamble. But
Go all like end of fucking Raiders of the Lost Ark and just melt and shit. Put it in the budget, guys. Come on.
It was pretty awesome, though. All the information that came out right there. She's talking to Mill, hyping him up. But, I mean, you find out why she's licking people's faces.
well, and she says that Matanza is a god, and that licking his face, she can get his power.
Yeah.
That's basically what she implied. I mean, that's not verbatim what she said, but I mean, that's a pretty powerful tongue.
Yeah, but we do know that he has a god inhabiting his body right now.
Yeah. But also, it shows, like, there's so much character motivation that they just kind of put out there without being too overt with it. And
Yeah, I mean, she said that like it was a throwaway line. I mean, she delivered it like we were supposed to know, but at the same time, it wasn't directly connected to the match because we went into the trios match after that. But it was like, that's big stuff.
Yeah.
you get why she's licking and kissing Phoenix all the time, too, the man of 1,000 lives. Like, she's...
Maybe that's how she got to be sold. Maybe she's been licking Phoenix for 100 years.
Maybe that's why he's always
She
smiling.
did say in that AMA that was the tastiest one of all the luchadors.
And
So.
he's always got that look like this bitch again.
Oh, hashtag mask problems. So I'm going to go into graver consequences now.
Yeah.
I'll come back to this trios thing. Maybe we'll even talk about it when Casey's in here. Yeah. But graver consequences. We know Casey was there because his reaction shot to the punch through the coffin was the stuff of television legend where Casey's just like, and his face starts doing these things that I've never seen on a human face before. Why did your face do that? That's the most important question of grave consequences.
You got to see the coolest thing that you've ever seen in your life at that point, and then it'll fucking happen. But I do love that how that close up you audibly hear me yell "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
And so I'm not always on TV, but when I do, I'm swearing on basic cable, basically.
Well, another thing to consider is Casey is probably one of the biggest Undertaker fans of all time.
Yeah.
And Undertaker, his match was the casket match, and they were all kind of
Shitty.
lame matches. And now, to see an actual, like, really good one.
Yeah, to see two really actually good ones after Phoenix Mill too, And I mean that was my pick for the best match of season 1.
Okay, I'm gonna rephrase some of what I said earlier, where I said that the Cops and Robbers 3-way was one of the worst things recently, even though it wasn't that bad. I think the processional at the beginning of this match was the worst thing that's been on Lucha Underground in 5 or 6 episodes.
It
Really?
sets the mood, yeah.
Man, these
I wish
guys
they
are
would've
marks.
got-
I can't even say the processional's bad.
I wish they would have got more shots of the audience because we were all praying too.
Okay.
But they didn't really get any shots of
Well,
that.
and
it
I
would've
think,
been cool.
I'll say this. I think it really sets the tone. I don't know if this one translated to TV setting the tone very good.
It wasn't as good as the first one.
I just did. Yeah, I tuned out. Like I was on Twitter. I was kind of maybe I didn't throw myself into it enough. But then the second time I watched it late at night, and I watched it in a dark room. So I felt like even that time it would be a little more moody and interesting to me. But I was kind of bored by it. I'm not gonna lie. I just was kind of like,
Okay.
Well, we'll move on.
No, yeah, it's
He's outvoted, guys.
I'm entitled to my shitty
2-1.
opinion. Apparently,
Good match.
Great
so
entrance.
spot wise, the first thing that really I was just like, holy shit, was Katrina throws this chair shot at Matanza, And we're not talking a steel chair. And just so you know, I've talked to a few wrestlers, and they always say, like, the wooden seating chairs are not the ones you ever want to hit someone with. Like, the steel chairs actually are better to take a shot from. She comes full on with a regular ungagged wooden chair and breaks that shit over fucking Matanza.
Yeah.
That was harsh.
We've sat in those chairs like
They're
once
super
or twice.
fucking solid.
Yeah, like you could, like that just gotta hurt, man. Those are heavy ass chairs.
Yeah.
That was a crazy spot. And to see Katrina do it too, it's like, we know Katrina can work, but doesn't really do that. I mean, she's even said that's not really what she wants to do in Lucha Underground, and even as a manager / valet, whatever, high priestess, she hasn't really gotten too physically involved other than like bashing somebody with a rock every now and then. But she smacked the shit. And like, she looked like she had a serious good baseball swing too.
Yeah.
It was cool to me to just see her get physically involved like that. And I was definitely afraid after that because Matanza, not so happy about it. And
He disapproved.
Yeah, he was pretty much going to slaughter her until the spear! The spear into the wooden chairs was fucking destructive. I mean, it just like, thank God everyone had actually moved like you're supposed to.
I have a hard time moving out of the way over there with the chairs being connected, so I kind of like sitting in the bleachers more because you can just run for your fucking life if you
Those
have to.
chairs, if you guys don't know, are zip tied together, those rows of chairs. So when you have to get up, you have to basically file out of the aisle into the center section where they do a lot of the high spots or whatever. And it's like, once you're standing up and you're sitting in that section, you have no clue what's going to happen or if you're ever going to get your chair back. Not that I would care. I'll stand for the whole thing. But a lot of those people look lost. And sometimes, some of the more heavy set guests or handicapped guests will be sitting in those sections.
So they got to move. Yeah, man. I just don't want people bleeding on my seat. You don't want to sit in someone's blood.
What was some of the other spots that you guys liked in this match? I mean, there's
the thing with the 3 caskets together.
Oh God.
Well, they started off like, normally when you structure a match, there's different sections, and especially now that they're doing 20-minute main events, they ramp up.
Right.
And these guys started off exactly as you would expect them to. They just start going to like the strong grapple moves,
Right. Well, and I was surprised too. So they set up the 3 coffins, and the first spot on the coffins was a power bomb. Yeah. And I thought that was all we were going to get. No. But it was like, and then later you get the apron spot down onto the 3 coffins with, was it a flatliner there?
Yeah, it was a flatliner.
Oh my God. What the shit were those guys thinking when they fucking planned that match out? Like, oh yeah, this will be fun. Let's just bash each other with a flatliner into these 3 fucking coffins. Jesus.
And see, when coffins dent, they get all kinds of fucking, caskets.
Death boxes.
When death boxes bend, they get all kinds of sharp edges and shit on them.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
It's like a car door.
I don't know the etiquette of caskets for wrestling, or if you can, gag them out or what. But the thing is, man, when these big guys hit these things, they just bend and dent and crinkle and do bad things. They look super fucking solid, people.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's some wrestling magic out there for buying the right kind of coffin that doesn't kill people when they get slammed into it, but this just does not look like fun for these guys to me.
And having been in the coffin from the first Grave Consequences match, like actually...
It's a fucking real coffin.
It's a real coffin, and it's not gimmicked.
And they still keep that one backstage too, right? That's
they show it off.
That's like a shrine. That's not even a prop anymore. That's a shrine.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man.
They would have it out while you would wait in line so you could take a picture by it.
Yeah, that's how I was inside of it. I didn't lose a Grave Consequences match. No spoilers.
So... here's the thing. Like, early in this match, 3 out of 4 coffins were already destroyed. So clearly Dario had a good idea having a 4 coffin match because 1 coffin was not going to make it through this fucking match. I'm going to have another criticism. You guys are going to hate me today. Just hate me. Okay. Here's my thing. If you're going to do a blade job, we know the mask gets torn. You know a blade job's coming or some blood is coming. Not to ruin it for anybody who doesn't know what happens in wrestling. The mask gets torn. You're probably going to see blood unless there's usually a quick finish after it or you're going to see blood. That's typically the way a mask tear goes down historically. All right, so we're going to see blood. The mask gets ripped. There's a blade spot. which is fine. Look, it's wrestling. I like that kind of stuff every now and then. I think it's cool. I've done the cut to my forehead thing, messing around with my buddies and whatever. It's not that bad.
That's weird.
But yeah, well, I'm a weird guy. So here's the thing. When that happens, and this goes out to Katrina and Dario, you are supposed to distract the audience. Everybody in the room is looking at the blade job. Katrina is staring at the blade job. Dario is staring at the blade job. Heel manager 101. Somebody in the ring, not on the side, not on the apron, not on the floor, in the center of the ring is doing a blade job. As a manager, that is when you start pounding the apron, you start yelling at the crowd, you fucking pull out a tit. I don't care what you do, you are supposed to distract the crowd. This is what keeps it real for all of us. We do not want to see the blade job ever. Now, given on TV, they can cut away or whatever, but all the cutaways I'm seeing are of everyone staring at the blade job. What was that? This is a huge criticism for me to this particular spot in this episode. You guys have any thoughts on it?
Well, to be fair, Katrina and Dario are pretty new to the whole manager game. It's not like they're
agreed. So I hope they're listening to this. Take note.
Yeah.
Next time, when you know the blade spot's coming, yell, scream, do something. Kick a fan in the audience or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and hit me, Dario. It's all right. I'll take it.
It was kind of cool, though.
Really, Dario and Katrina should have been fighting there. That's what should have happened. You killed my guy. No, you killed my guy, blah, 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 blade spot. And then we come back and there's blood.
And it would have been a good way to get Katrina into the coffin, too.
Yeah, and I'll even, I'll reference the Sexy Star match from before. You know who covered it there? Marty Elias.
Yeah.
He starts screaming do you know Mas, whatever, and he takes the focus off of the blade job. It was perfect.
He's a veteran.
Marty is the best. We know Marty's the best.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that was one of the only criticisms I could have about this actual match.
I do like the act of it itself, is because this is the first time we've seen Mil Muertes really vulnerable.
Right.
To where his mask is fucking ripped. Phoenix couldn't do that shit.
Matanza ripped his mask before, right?
Yeah, I think a little. I love it though when I love Mil's hair coming out though, because I started immediately thinking of his other gimmicks, Well, because once the hair is out, it's like, oh yeah, that's right, that's who he is.
But it's kind of cool that Katrina's talking to him in his civilian name, or like his before he died in the Rebel name.
Pascual Mendoza.
Pascual Mendoza.
And so for me, because I don't watch a whole bunch of AAA, and I didn't really see him in TNA or was it WSX or whatever?
Oh God, watch WSX, Byron.
Well, so when I see the hair, when I see the mask pulled out, and I see him as a human being, I look at that as there's Pascual, there's that guy, like there's him, not invincible. Casey, you need to close the door if you're gonna get naked in there. It doesn't.
Casey's changing.
Casey walked to a room
to
change, but left the door open so we could still watch. He's
I have my back to that door. I'm pretty sure he did that just for you. I don't participate.
Thought we were
So there's still some other crazy spots. We talked about Mill punching through the coffin.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And I will say that even after that blade spot, which wasn't a lot of blood anyway, there was a choke slam on the coffin right after that pretty much took the bad taste out of my mouth immediately, because that was amazing.
They just destroyed each other.
And those coffins.
Okay, so here's my question for you guys, because maybe you guys can explain this to me. Mill finds a gauntlet? What the fuck is that about?
Sometimes when you set up a ring, you have to fight sharks. And they live under the ring. It's fucked up. That's why, sometimes people go under the ring and they disappear and you can't find them. They don't have Undertaker powers. A fucking shark got them. And so you have that glove under there, so if the shark attacks you, it just bites your arm and you're okay. The chainmail.
There's no water under the ring.
It doesn't matter. Land sharks, dude. Don't you watch Saturday Night Live? Fuck. Haven't you seen fucking Sharknado?
So amazing.
It's like...
Is someone from the cast of Beverly Hills 90210 going to come out and save us from this?
It's not even 10
I
a.m.
hope it's Luke Perry. His son was training to be a wrestler for a while. I used to see him at shows constantly, so he's a fan.
I will say it's not even 10 a.m. and Casey's already stealing the heels gimmick right now.
But where did the where'd the gauntlet even go? Like, it was there, it wasn't there. Like, I was so confused by this.
Oh yeah, there was a cut where he had to smuggle it, so he had to hide it in his ass. And I'm like, how are they going to show this on TV, right? So they didn't. They just cut it out.
Oh, the Casey theories are great.
I like how when Milf found it, Stryker and Vampiro just had no words for it. Like, what is that thing? I don't know.
Vampiro did throw in the shark fighting thing because he fucking knows. He's been under a ring. He knows how dangerous the waters are.
Well, so the gauntlet is still a mystery. Maybe not as big a mystery of who Lord Big Boss is, but Katrina slaps the shit out of Dario. Yeah. I mean, holy taste, never going to be in your mouth again.
That was one of the hardest slaps I've seen someone not
like,
get their jaw dislocated.
And again, poor Dario. He's just an actor, guys. Yeah. It's like... Did he know what he was getting signed up for? Like, this was something in a script, and he probably thought a stunt double was going to come out or whatever. But, like, he had to take a full-on hardcore slap from a woman who broke a chair over a man's back earlier. Like, she seems like a fairly strong woman, even though she's not wrestling all the time.
And she's taller than him, too.
Yeah,
I wonder what he thought when he was reading the script, and he had to say, wait, there's going to be 4 caskets? Like, there's 4 of us?
Casket?
Yeah, do I have to go inside
Wait a second. Before we shoot the scene, let's go over the match.
Yeah. Well, apparently he did, because he was not the one that got put in a casket right after that. It was Katrina.
And she disappeared because the sharks got her.
Now, here's my thing about this. If you're Matanza or Cueto or whoever is going to put Katrina in a coffin, why would you put her fucking rock in there? Why would you send her source of power with her to the grave?
Yeah, kind of a bad move.
I thought they were going to put the rock in a different one, and then they all lose their powers, and then they win that way.
I thought Jake the Snake was going to come to the ring and start trying to smoke the rock.
Well, I mean, I thought that was great. And so without Katrina there, without the power of the rock available, locked away in a coffin, and maybe that was really the point, was to shield the power from Mill.
Yeah, because then she can't revive him.
Yeah, maybe sending the rock to the grave is the best thing, because maybe then we get to the finish.
You start seeing him breathe heavy too afterwards. Like, he looked vulnerable after that too.
And here's my favorite thing: the only coffin that's not smashed now gets wheeled into the ring.
Yeah.
And before we get the final spot, we're gonna smash this coffin up a little bit. Like, God forbid we have a clean casket that goes to the finish here.
Oh no.
So. Then we get what's the crazy fucking Matanza move?
Is it the Eater of the Worlds?
No, it's the Wrath of the Gods.
It's the Roman Reigns Power Slam.
It's the Wrath of the Gods finish. It was a little off because you can't get the full spin rotation and hit the mark exactly.
Yeah, because you got to get him in a casket.
But it was still dope. It was still dope. I loved it.
But there's still the semi-career-ending HBK back bump into a casket.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was his own doing. That was just ridiculous.
Ooh, I gotta go, guys. I've had enough of this kayfabe breaking on this fucking podcast. I'm out of here. I'm about to go see about some teaching credentials. I'll see you guys later.
Man, real people.
I feel sorry
jobs.
for anyone that you would teach.
Hashtag real life problems.
Yeah. Ask your mom what I taught her, pal.
All right, well, we're just going to try to call Vinny and see if we can get him on the show to fuck with you.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Are you going to stay?
Have fun, guys. I'll see you later.
Close the door.
I will.
No, the one you walked by. That's open.
I thought you were supposed to say, don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out.
Casey doesn't have an ass. He's white.
Yeah. True. So this finish, we talked a little bit about the Cuerno part at the end here. And then we also talked about that other segment. It goes into this big boss thing. You guys feel free to hit us with your theories. I'm sure I haven't listened to Last Real Heels yet this week. I'm sure they have theories. I'm sure Twitwow has theories. I'm sure
they were talking last week about.
Probably got. I should listen to Razor Cabron because he probably goes off on his theories.
The Heels were talking about Melissa having some sort of role. That's kind of been going.
Well, and I've heard some of those theories too about how she's, maybe some Aztec princess or something and doesn't even know it. And there's all sorts of Melissa theories out there now, which I think is cool. That would be sweet if they actually, I haven't really thought about it much, so I don't particularly have a theory myself yet. But I think that it would be really cool if you would go so far as to have your ring. I mean, you've had Vampiro have a storyline.
Well, everyone has a purpose in the temple, and I think. When we go this deep into the show, that purpose extends beyond the matches.
Everyone pretty much does. Has there been anyone to show up in Lucha Underground that has been purely jobber status that has not had like any kind of storyline?
Well,
that's been on TV.
Striker's still sort of just an announcer.
Right, so you're calling him a jobber?
I'll
let him know you said that.
First of all, we saw his career in the ring.
Well...
But no, I'm sorry. That was...
No, it's not. Dude,
but
I don't even think
saying...
he'd fault you for that. I think he'd be like, yeah, why the fuck do you think I'm announcing? I love this business, and I never got the fucking rub.
No, Striker's the man, but as far as in the temple, he's one of those guys who just does his job. Vampiro does his job.
Well, but he's had some segments supporting Vampiro, and the one where he picks him up or whatever. I guess that is his one backstage bit where he picks up Vamp.
Yeah, and that was kind of badass.
Which is a shame, because Matt's actually a decent actor. He should almost do a couple more spots or get involved in an angle somehow.
Well, they can save it.
Maybe he can be in an angle with Melissa. I'm sure he wouldn't be too mad about that.
My one of my biggest pops last weekend was just on an on-show thing when they were doing the Mother's Day flowers to all the mothers. Melissa was announcing it and said, all the mothers, raise your hand, and if anyone needs help becoming one, Striker will come on by.
That is great, and I'm glad Melissa knows that.
Striker just put his head down.
He was embarrassed, but and I will say, because it's not a spoiler, it's not going to be on TV. Rey Mysterio was so nice during that segment. Rey Mysterio was really nice at the Temple in general. I won't tell you anything about any of his matches or whatever, but he spent time talking to a lot of fans. He made sure he walked around a lot of the flowers, and other guys came out too. Joey Ryan, I think. Who else? A few people came out and gave out flowers. As part of the Mother's Day celebration, and Vamp did a big announcement for him. It was really cool.
Yeah, Vamp did a nice, sweet Mother's Day thing, and then as soon as it was done, he was like, all right, that bullshit's over. You motherfuckers ready?
Well, I mean, he's still got to get the crowd hyped. You don't want a bunch of teary-eyed, people going, oh, my mom, like during the first match or whatever, especially if it's for TV, which I think it was. I don't think it was dark.
No, it was...
Which is another strange thing about Lucha is like if you're used to WWE, because of the fact that they're always taping TV or whatever, all the dark matches are before or after. And Lucha Underground, they're usually in the middle of the show so they can reset something else, or so they can do wardrobe changes for another episode or get gags ready or something. Like the dark matches sometimes I've been watching one and not even realize it's a dark match until you look up and see all the cameras are on the crowd or down and not on the action.
That was huge. I mean, I can imagine what the room was like when they were talking about this or that, and then one person goes, why don't we do our dark matches during the downtime, and then why don't we shoot crowd B-roll during that?
Right. Which is smart. I mean, I guess they need that, because to me, I'm always like, the dark matches are so good half the time that I'm like, they should just film this shit just in case. Like, you already got the whole crew here. You're paying them. They're not like getting a break or anything.
We can't really talk about them, right? But
yeah, I mean, I don't think we.
they've been some of the best matches on the card. Well, you got
big names like people. If you go to a taping. And like some of those people are booked for a whole weekend a lot of times. So because it's hard for them to get to LA or whatever. So you'll get a big star that maybe wrestled on the Saturday, but isn't in a TV match for Sunday. Yeah. So then all of a sudden they're in some awesome dark match, and it happens all the time. And sometimes those dark matches will be 10 people on the roster. It's crazy. And they'll be awesome matches. They won't like short sell the work. They'll still do crazy work. They'll still bump hard. They still do big spots.
Can we give a shout out to the guy with the boot markings on his face?
Oh yeah.
Is that too
I don't
much?
know. It might be.
I mean, well, whoever
I'll let you take your chances.
Whoever had at some point in the recent past the imprint of a boot on his face. Well done.
Well done. Kudos. Not Mentos. Kudos. Or her.
That's
no. It's all right. Since we've already pretty much talked about the whole episode, let's jump back in time real quick, and we'll just finish off this kind of Lucha breakdown, and then I will get into some other stuff, and maybe we'll get Vinny on the phone here. Let's talk about the trios match, the unlikely trio, Team Havoc, whatever you want to call them. Is short Angelico, which we've talked about, and poor injury-ridden Angelico. So Dario, who formed them in the first place, decides to take another stab at creating a new unlikely trio by bringing out Johnny Gordo, Johnny
Gordo.
Puto, Johnny Morrison.
Hey, shout out to the Luchasaurus on his YouTube channel. That video, we were at the tapings, and the tapings just destroyed me on Monday. I felt like I got hit by a truck and I wasn't moving. And then I open up my computer, and on YouTube I see that Luchasaurus, or on Twitter, wherever I was, I saw that video and I watched it, and it made me laugh so hard.
I'm still laughing. Yeah, Johnny. So with the partner, Johnny.
Johnny World.
Johnny. The real Morrison. Johnny Hollywood. Johnny.
One thing to watch out for: he hasn't changed his Twitter from his WWE.
Well, and
name.
yeah, and you won't get a retweet from Lucha Underground using his handle. I don't think. Like I've noticed that like they'll retweet stuff with people from their AAA handles or their Lucha handles. Actually, and the only one that I think gets retweeted that isn't using her Lucha name is Carly. It's Katrina. They still retweet her all the time.
Oh yeah, no, you have to tweet her.
But it's funny. It's like you would think they would want the rub from that on Twitter. Like, so I guess some wrestlers just don't know how to use social media yet, and some know how to work that shit. Like Famous B, he'll work a full Twitter gimmick for a night if necessary. Like he will work the shit out of Twitter.
All week he's posting pictures of Masquerita and saying, "Here's the next big thing."
I mean, it's fucking hilarious. And I'm thinking, oh shit, is there going to be a Famous B spot with Masquerita this week? No, there's not even a spot this week.
He's just representing his client.
That's a sell right there. That's how you get yourself over, people. Like, fuck it. Get yourself over.
One thing to watch out for is Alberto Patron kept Viva Del Rio on Twitter when he left WWE, and then he went back right away.
Suspicious or not. Or maybe this whole thing is just a big work to cash in and come back to Lucha Underground.
Yeah. Well, also, I think you lose your blue check if you change your Twitter handle too. So maybe that's why Johnny Mundo doesn't want to change it.
That might be, that could be the case. I don't know. And his is at The Real Morrison, right? Or
yeah.
The Real Morrison, yeah. So, I mean, he did 10 different names in WWE.
Yeah, he should just go by Johnny Nitro.
Yeah, I mean, he'd just be Johnny at this point. Just Johnny.
Jimmy Impact.
Yeah, Jimmy Impact. So he is the new third partner. Sorry, we digress every now and then here, folks.
Yeah.
So he is the new third partner with the Unlikely Trio versus the Lucha Dream Team of Dragon Azteca Jr., Rey Mysterio Jr., and He's
a prince.
Prince
Puma.
Puma. Yeah. Did I say that Hornswoggle was the big boss yet? He is a McMahon.
If he was wearing gloves, so if he wore like 4 pairs of gloves over each other and was standing in the limo,
it's not Hornswoggle.
Then it could have been him.
So early in the match, Dragon Azteca is working with Evil Lise, and they're doing kind of a little bit of chain wrestling, whatever.
Handshakes
and stuff, and being very friendly. And then they try to do the double kip up at the same time.
Oh.
And this doesn't go so well.
Was that?
Now, do you like the TV explanation for this, or do you just find that to be complete and utter garbage?
Oh, the ankle thing. Well, she was selling the ankle. And
she sold the ankle after the fact.
And she keeps breaking her ankle.
Is that why she missed the kip up?
I mean, I think she just missed it.
I think she just missed it too. And then,
I can't do it, so I'm not gonna.
And then had the smarts to sell the leg thing, or maybe she did twist her leg on trying to do the kip up. I don't know.
Yeah, she smiled afterwards too. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's like, dude, people miss spots. Again, kudos to Lucha Underground for trying to make something out of it and not necessarily try to hide it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, she botched it a little bit. She's still totally over, whatever. I'm sure she wasn't thrilled about it.
Yeah. I mean, maybe she landed on her foot wrong or something and sort of tweaked her ankle. I don't know, but it touches like that, touches like the Aerostar botch. They keep it going, and I think on a level, it shows a little bit of humanity
Maybe,
to these characters, and also
because you'll see 20 minutes of high flying perfection at times too.
Yeah.
It's like you can't expect that it's going to be flawless every single time, and you can't always think either that every spot has been worked out in these matches. And honestly, the way that most lucha libre wrestling is done, there's a lot of calling it on the fly, and a lot of the guys will say, okay, we're going to work some chain wrestling here, or hey, we're going to work high spots to the floor here, but not necessarily calling what every single one of those is going to be.
Right.
You know, you might work out a sequence or two with your guy, you know, but they're not agented like a WWE match sometimes where they're planning the commercial break ahead of time and you got to hit your spots at certain time, you know?
Yeah.
So I thought it was very interesting, and I thought it was interesting too that they slowed down there and they didn't use the power of editing to ramp it up and get you away from that moment. Vamp and Stryker acknowledge it, Evil Lise is acknowledging it, and they kind of move into some more.
It makes it real, but also it brings you more into the characters, because you learn about someone when you see how they deal with
right. Well, and
issues.
we get and then Stryker talks about her history of LBIs. The lower body injuries, which I was in tears when he said. I was just like, "What the fuck is Stryker talking about?"
Stryker's
right now?
talking about getting kicked in the head backstage.
I love it. I love the whole thing. I thought it was funny. But the way he said LBIs, it was like she had some kind of mild STD or something that she was coping with. Like you put a cream on it. I don't know. It was just funny to me. And then Ray and Havoc kind of work some unique spots. I think a singles match with these two would be straight fire. I want to see these two wrestle each other at some point in time.
Oh, definitely.
You want to see everyone else out of the ring. I want everyone else away from there. I want to see Ray and Havoc work. I know Ray won't probably work that hard and furious at the beginning of the match. Like let Havoc do all the big work at the beginning, because you know if you guys don't know, Ray's knees are not what they used to be.
Yeah.
But dude, Ray, for a guy who is getting up there in age and has put a lot of hours on his legs, he still does not let that slow him down too much. Like he doesn't shortchange it. He just works smarter, but he still works fucking hard.
Well, it's crazy to watch Ray and Lucha and see the Ray towards the end of WCW.
Yeah.
Like you see him go for Ranas where he would land on his knee on the flip.
Why?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Well, and he's probably saying the same thing to himself now. Like, why did I do that?
But also his schedule isn't wrestling 3 to 4 times a week too. Like he'll put in his spots on the weekend.
And a lot of people have complained about that too, though, that like his start in Lucha Underground was too slow. At the beginning of the season dragged. What you're doing all these promos with him and no in-ring debut, and that it didn't really even hype up his in-ring debut that much. His debut was coming for so long. But and for those who don't know, he was probably going to debut in season 1, but then the thing happened with Pero down in Mexico, and that it slowed down what Ray was doing at all at that point in time. You know, that was a pretty tragic situation.
He almost retired, I think. Like that was a decision to be made at that point.
Yeah, which is understandable. I mean, it's just tragic, you know, no fault to anyone kind of thing, but it was just sad situation. And kudos to Ray for being able to bounce back from that too. And Ray, we really appreciate you being in the temple, you know, after your storied career and coming and giving the rub to the side of the business that you love, even in spite of the hardships that you've personally faced. I just think that's amazing that we even have Ray in Lucha Underground right now.
Well, he's a real ambassador of Lucha Libre, and we've had that come into Lucha Underground before.
Yeah.
Someone coming in saying they're doing that, and then they leave because...
Ray's only been around for this season. We'll see what happens, folks, if, you know...
But he was at Austin Warfare doing interviews. He's pushing the show. Like, he's promoting...
And I'll say this, and Ray said it publicly, at Austin Warfare, he said that he is really looking forward to a feud with Johnny Mundo. So I am now really looking forward to a feud with Johnny Mundo. And I don't know if it's happened yet or where it's going. I don't think it'll necessarily be this season. I mean, you get a little bit of it starting right here, maybe. But Ray has said that he's looking forward to a feud with this guy. And these guys can both move. Johnny's got the size to be able to do some crazy spots with Ray and the muscles. And he can fly too. I would love to see a program with, you know, new school parkour flippy shit versus old school, you know, traditional style lucha libre flippy shit. I think that would be awesome.
Well, Lucha Underground is is a show. First of all, the whole like debuting Ray in the ring. They really built up his debut, but they built up his debut on the show because it's a show more than an in-ring product.
Right.
And I think that's where they were. That's where they put. That's the basket they put their eggs in for premiering on the show, as opposed to in the ring. But you look at the show and you have a bunch of luchadors who idolized Ray and who wrestle styles influenced and that will mesh well with them. And now you have Ray coming in and he mixes it up with everyone.
I mean, I really cannot even believe that we have Ray right now.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, to put it into context, I was watching Ray in ECW 20 some odd years ago. And this is at the same point in time when Vampiro was one of my favorite wrestlers and he was debuting in WCW.
Yeah.
So look at where Vampiro is now. And no slight on Vamp. He's had his career, whatever, but he's sitting behind a desk. Him walking around, he doesn't even walk so good anymore. Like you could see the ring wear on this man. He has been through it. He's put on a couple pounds. He's sitting there. He's still in the business, which is awesome. But at the same time, Ray should be there too.
Yeah, Vampiro I think is a little bit older than Ray.
Yeah, he was, because Ray came in so young. But at the same time, the same length of careers here we're talking about. These two guys were...
Vampiro did his thing. Like, he had a full-on career as big as Hulk Hogan outside of the U.S.
Right. And he got some love here in the U.S. for a little while, too. And then you're talking about Ray, who was getting over huge then, continued... We thought for sure Ray's going to get buried in WWE once the whole merger thing happened. No. Ray went on to be the fucking champion there.
Yeah.
The craziest shit ever. Whoever thought a real luchador with that kind of career would ever get the rub from Vince McMahon?
Yeah.
Amazing still to this day. And that says something about Ray too, because people, you don't get to be that unless you got some magic backstage too. You have to be doing a certain something that the company likes. You have to be a certain kind of person. Well, and Ray wasn't doing it with the bullying and burying other people like some people might have. Ray was doing it purely out of like the kindness of the kind of person he is. And this is a guy, and I will tell you, this weekend after a match, he stayed in the ring. They normally clear the place out, let the wrestlers get out of there. Ray stuck around to say hi to all the fans.
Yeah.
He did not need to do that.
It's amazing, but his big draw, I think, at WWE was he was that Lucha Libre ambassador, and he would sell tickets. He would sell merch. They would do a Mexico tour,
right,
and put Ray at the top of it, and then sell out. And his niece couldn't keep up the schedule, this and that, and he ended up leaving. And now that he's back doing shows for AAA, he's going to the hottest up-and-coming American Lucha Libre show. And he's doing everything he can to help it out. He puts more eyes on it. He's going in. He's wrestling everyone he can, even if it's Aztec Warfare. And then he's in.
It's funny because I almost want to see him do some time in TNA just so he can have been at all the major promotions.
Get him that X division.
Even though TNA is so over now, and I'm going to get to that in a few minutes with this EC3 thing, but. Yeah, it's sad.
But it's the Ray and Lucha Underground, I agree, is just we're watching that luchador that we idolized as a kid who was flying and blowing our minds.
And he still got it. I mean, don't get me wrong. Ray is not going to work that stupid, ridiculous, fast pace at the beginning of a match like he did way back in the day. Okay, yeah. This is not Psychosis Ray circa 1998.
But he's smarter about building the matches now too.
Yeah, absolutely. And the storyline is still there. And when those spots come at the end, you're still going to pop for them. No, the 619 is not going to surprise you when it happens. You're going to see the setup coming from probably a mile away, but it doesn't matter. You're going to love it. You will pop for it every single time.
It feels really good to chant 619.
It does. Even though we're in the 323, 310,
whatever Boyle Heights is.
What is Boyle Heights? It's 323.
I think it's 323.
Yeah.
But you look at matchups, and the last Lucha Libre royalty ambassador who was coming in, he fought Tejano.
Yeah.
I think he did a couple jobber matches, and then he fought Mundo, who Mundo doesn't need any sort of introduction or rub. He worked with this guy before, and he was one of the big stars to help get this show off the ground. But then Ray comes in, and he's in a trios team with Puma, who is the top dog in babyface and Lucha.
I mean, he reigned for the whole first season.
Yeah, but he's still getting the rub from Ray.
Right. And well, I mean, that's like they're both giving the rub to a certain extent, because Puma is like, putting him over with, hey, I got over with this crowd, welcome Ray here. It's not bullshit. I mean, it's just more this, like, the stamp of approval of Ray being here is not bullshit. We're not just, he's not just a flash in the pan. He's not some old timer that's going to come and do 2 matches and leave you guys.
And then Dragon S. Sega Jr. with his pizza DDT. Ray's bringing him in and saying, hey, this guy's cool. And then this guy is matching Ray and doing more high spots than him, Right. Like, he's mixing it up with all these guys. And then you look at matchups like Ray Phoenix one-on-one, Ray Pentagon one-on-one, Ray Aerostar.
And I'm telling you, Ray Havoc, I want to be in that list. That's what this match, I mean, I just got a taste of it. Just a slight little, it was just a little dick tease of what that could possibly be. And I'm just like, oh my God, I need to see those two one-on-one. I need to see that match.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, and it was just funny. Them working their weird double leg grab, kid and play thing. I thought it was like cheesy, but at the same time, it was like, that's a good use for Ray. Like, we're popping and we're not hurting Ray, and it's actually compelling. Him and Havoc worked a couple spots before that, and then they slowed it down and did that thing, and it was really funny. It was just flat out entertaining. And that's what wrestling is supposed to be, people. It doesn't, like, you get a little spoiled in Lucha Underground because the high spots are so freaking sick. Nobody is doing high spots like Lucha Underground. And for the most part, those high spots aren't that dangerous. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's always inherent danger in high spots. But I'm just saying the high-flying movement and action, even better than when WCW had their cruiserweight division. For anything that is an American product, and some of the Japanese stuff too, like they work slower and stiffer up to some good crazy high spots like this, but something about Lucha, the way it moves and the way they incorporate high spots in the beginning, middle, and end of matches is amazing to me. It's
a really cool blend of the American and Lucha Libre styles.
Yeah.
And some Japanese, like when you have Daga coming in, going a little bit more strong style,
which I love. I thought that was great. Him and Tejano's match was still one of my top 5 matches this season, even with all the other crazy shit. I just really loved that match. It stood out, and that's what it was. It was like a totally different style. Like, I felt like I was in Japan all of a sudden with 2 luchadors.
Here's another tangent on a tangent.
Yeah.
Did you hear about Bret Hart talking about how wrestling, which is basically just WWE, it has turned into like the same 200-pound 6-foot tall guy doing ranas. Like, they're all the same. Like, you have they're all like a bunch of Sami Zayns,
right? Pretty
much. And he wants more big guys, and not just like jacked up Mason Ryans, but like King Kong Bundy's, like more of a variety.
But I think, and I don't disagree with some of that criticism to a certain point. And I like to see a more diverse roster in general, but I think part of the problem is one of the things you're seeing is these 200-pound guys that can move like that are also the ones that can cut good promos.
Yeah.
And the problem is wrestling is not just about the in-ring work. I mean, these guys that Brett's talking about, they didn't talk. They had to have managers. That doesn't really fly, especially in WWE. They've gone so far away from that. Like, even if a guy needs that, it's more, 2 guys getting paired together where one of them can talk.
Yeah.
And they're both in-ring workers. You don't really have the non-workers that will come out and cut the Jimmy Hart promo or the Paul Bearer promo or the Jim Cornette promo.
Jim Cornette was a good manager, but
I'm just saying, you could do that, and maybe that's the trick. Like, Brett, if you want those kind of guys back, figure out a way to get the storylines over, because if you're talking about WWE, Raw is 3 goddamn hours long every week. Somebody has to be able to cut a promo. The whole show is that long because during the Monday Night Wars, when these 2 companies were going back and forth, those promos where people were semi-shooting were what was selling the whole thing. And the problem is, once you make the programs that long and you're selling those ad revenues, and people, this is real business talk here. Once you're doing that, you cannot go back. Believe me, if Vince McMahon, Triple H, Stephanie, whoever, the powers that be, could go back to a 2-hour Raw right now, they would.
Well,
they would love to. They can't. The ad sales are done, people. It'll never go backwards now.
I don't know if Vince would. I do know the people who are more hands-on writing it would, but you're looking at like okay.
No, I'll tell you why Vince would. Because it would protect his talent more and give him better guarantees on paydays if he didn't have to overwork them. Vince doesn't mind working people to the bone, but even Vince McMahon does not want to overwork these guys to the point. Like, look at WrestleMania this year. Yeah. Don't think that Vince McMahon wanted that much of his roster sitting on the sidelines for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
It doesn't work for him either. But the problem is the stick took over during the Monday Night Wars. The stick became all important. It's part of why Lucha Underground rocks. It's part of why TNA for a while was really, really awesome, because they had that show. They had a really rich X division on top of, some other good mid-card to top-card workers. They had some legends in there as well. They had a lot of guys who could work the stick, but they didn't have to as hard as WWE did. WWE set a precedent for themselves, and it worked even after the merge for a long time, because then you had all these other guys who could talk. And you had Booker T coming in, and you just had name after name of all these people. Y2J had already debuted, and like, you had all these guys that could grab a microphone and carry a 20-minute promo. Keep this in mind. This is a show that every week has to have a 20-minute promo. You know what Lucha Underground could do with 20 minutes? In 20 minutes, you have 2 cinemas and a fucking great match, and drive 10 times more story than one 20-minute promo in WWE in a 3-hour show.
Yeah, let's just say 20 minutes is the first half of Lucha. You did all of those scenes. You did that match. You did everything except the main event.
That's it.
The main event and the final scene. I mean, before the main event happened on this last episode, like they have good, entertaining episodes, but this one had not only one of their best matches, but they just dropped a hammer on a ton of story that we've been asking questions about. And before the main event happened, like, my mind was already blown.
And I will say this, like, the WWE, after the merge with ECW, WCW, or whatever, after all that stuff played out, that was the death of the big man. You couldn't get Mark Henry over anymore. You couldn't get Big Show over. Kane started having problems getting over because it was impossible in these huge amount of times without those back and forth storylines and without the new inflood of the WCW versus WWE thing going on anymore. It was really hard for them to get over all those big guys. Rikishi died. All these characters. Yeah. And they were being overworked. These guys don't have the same kind of knees. They can't do the fucking schedule that the 200-pound Sami Zayns of the world can do. They can't do it. That's why. So, Bret Hart, there's your answer. That's why you don't have a ton of those guys right now.
Well, I also think that he's only looking at WWE. That's his world.
Right.
Not even TNA. And I don't know what TNA is doing.
Well, and if that is your world, that's the thing. You can't do it. TNA can even do it because they film 4 shots. They film 4 days in a row or whatever.
But Lucha Underground, when you're looking for what Brett's asking for is a variety in the show.
Right.
Lucha Underground, I think, delivers that to an extent. You have your big guys. You have your...
You don't... I mean, look, but being realistic, the big guys... Yeah, Matanza, Mill, like the guys you look at in Lucha as monsters, I'm taller than those guys. Yeah. Like, they're not, like, it's deceptive even when you're there. They're not that big. Like, Morrison looks like a huge guy in Lucha Underground. Cage looks like a huge guy. Cage, but if you stood Cage next to some of the bigger WWE workers, you would be like, oh, Cage is not a very big guy.
Well, like Dean Ambrose he's tall.
Yeah.
He's like, what, 6'3" or something?
Yeah, he's like, tall guy, yeah.
But he's real skinny. He doesn't carry himself like a big guy. If you threw him...
But that's because he's standing in WWE. Yeah, he doesn't look like a big guy there necessarily. I mean, Chris Jericho, if you put him in Lucha Underground, he's almost, like, size-wise the same size as John Morrison. Yeah. Johnny Mundo, whatever we're calling him.
Yeah. They do a really great job in Lucha with the presentation of their monsters.
So, I don't think that Brett's wrong. I just think that fixing that problem is a lot more difficult than just bringing those guys in. You can bring in those big workers, but you're going to beat up their knees. you're going to gas him out. Hell, just the fucking run down to the ring. How fucking far is that? It's like 180 yards. These guys have to do these long ring entrances, and then they have to cut promos, and they have to be on their knees. They have to do solid work. They have to bounce around in the biggest wrestling ring around. I mean, it's wide as shit. It's the biggest size that you get. It's a lot of work.
There's no squash matches anymore either.
And but you can't work a squash storyline when you got a 3-hour show and you have to do, a SmackDown after that, house shows on the weekends, whatever. Like, you can't, it's not sustainable. It's not a sustainable model. And that type of athlete, like Brett, imagine Andre the Giant working that schedule today. Andre the Giant had trouble working a house show and a TV taping in his heyday. Hogan would have had problems even in his heyday. These guys did not work the schedule that the dudes that work at WWE do now, and you have to be a certain type of individual. I think The Rock is the model that you're seeking nowadays, and that's about as big as you want to go for a real star. You can't just have a giant come in. You're not going to get a Sid Vicious. You're not going to get these guys. It's just not going to work anymore. Yeah.
I mean, I like the Wyatt family. All those guys are big guys, and Harper can really work. But yeah, I do. I mean, I would like to see a variety of characters, a variety of styles of matches.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want to see
I think you get a little bit of it on NXT. I mean, I think they could bring in a couple big guys there, see how they work out, and then maybe do the thing where they're bringing them up to the big show occasionally, or they bring them up for one program and then they send them back down. And I don't even like saying up and down, because I don't feel like NXT is an up and down situation anymore. And I think a lot of performers would almost rather be in NXT right now and let their gimmicks be able to get worked out, and then pull up that gimmick to one of the other shows. Like, I think it should be more of a revolving door with the whole roster, because NXT will give them a chance to take a little bit of a break. It brings more prestige to that show. You can work a different style. You can try out some angles, do some different stuff down there. Yeah. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing some big talent down there.
But I think short term, you're going to want that big show paycheck.
Right. All right. Well,
anyways,
we were talking about the trios match.
Sorry.
No, I don't know that there's much more to say. I mean, Ray hits his 619, and then he lets Puma go over in this match.
That felt weird to me. It felt a little.
Why Puma and not Dragon Azteca too? I mean, I know Dragon Azteca was on the floor at this point in time.
Puma's there, but it's like, this is Puma's house, let him take it. But it also sort of felt like, just a little bit like, Puma doesn't need that. Well, what's the word?
Well, I mean, look, I'm gonna break kayfabe here, and I'm just gonna say it outright. I think the writers wanted Ray to let Puma go over here so that Puma doesn't start thinking about going elsewhere.
This was filmed a long time ago.
Even back then, I'm gonna say that I think that maybe there were some rumblings going on, and it's like, we need to make sure that our superstar from season 1 feels like he's getting the rub. I feel like there was backstage politics at play in letting Puma go over in this particular match, because it didn't feel right to me either.
I felt like there was a little bit of storyline, sort of. Ray comes in, does his thing, and says, like, here you go, kid, you can have this one. And, it's just...
And maybe it is building to some of that. Like,
yeah, it's the first time I've seen that. Maybe it's supposed to be there, maybe it isn't. But I look at that and
again,
I look at
DJ
Puma.
is really intentional when he writes this stuff too. So this might be setting up a little something with Ray and Puma. Who knows?
Puma is not Dragon Azteca Jr. He doesn't need to be handed a match. But I will say, non-kayfabe, I felt the same way you did at the beginning of season 2, where it was a show about, or the main event scene was dominated by monster heels.
Right.
Pentagon, Mil Muertes. Matanza hadn't entered yet, but he was knocking on the door.
The threat the whole time. Dario's out there at the fighting club somewhere else with Matanza. We know he's the threat that whole time.
And you look at all these guys and you go, well, Puma just straight up got beaten down at Ultimo Lucha 1.
Right.
And he lost his title. And then he comes back and he's trying to, get back in there with Mil. And then Pentagon comes in, breaks his arm.
Right.
And then now Puma went down another notch. He has to fight through Pentagon to get to his spot again.
Well, so I guess the question, look, he's a trios champion right now.
Which is great.
Do you want Puma to wear the gold again? Do you want Puma to have the Lucha Underground title again? Is that what the average Lucha fan wants?
I don't know. I mean,
everyone, don't get me wrong. Everyone wants Pentagon to wear the belt, obviously.
Everyone wants Pentagon.
Pentagon is the one guy that everyone is like, why the F does he not have the belt?
Yeah.
But other than that, like, do you want to see a Pentagon Puma feud where those two are the guys in the title picture? Is that the feud that everyone's been missing this whole time? And how do you get Matanza and Mill out of the title picture ever?
That's a big
that's
issue.
the problem with creating monsters is like.
But the trios team with Ray and Dragon S. Sega Jr. as like the Brock Lesnar of the trios, like they're untouchable. That's a great spot for him. I mean, that's the most prestige he's had all season.
Well, and this is another one too. It's like just the same way. Like, how do you take the belt off of Matanza? And now we've seen him completely decimate Mill and Katrina disappear, which we didn't even talk about, by the way. She just fucking disappeared. What the fuck?
It makes sense, though.
I
if
guess
she could disappear, she would get the fuck out of there.
Well, yeah. But she left her poor Mill to die and is like, what happens to Mill now? Does she have to reincarnate him? What is the process?
Well, I assume that she'll pick him up where she picked him up last time.
Oh, yeah.
But then Cuerno has him now. So
right. So is he going to taint the process? Ooh. Good stuff.
Yeah. I'm so happy that Cuerno showed up just to get in the
right.
middle
So
of it.
Ray hit it 619. Puma goes over. Aftermath, Taya and Ivelisse, which we didn't really talk about, they're kind of working spots and a little angle together through this whole thing. I hope now that, the Unlikely Trio has kind of been eliminated from the title picture for the Trios belt, now that maybe this frees Evie up to have a feud with Taya, because I will be so conflicted. I would not.
Who do you cheer for?
I would probably cheer for Taya. I'm showing my partial heel nature. Like, I may not be the last real heel or even a real heel at all. Like almost every one of my other friends that likes Lucha Underground, they're fucking heels, all of them. God damn it. But I would say that I would probably cheer for Taya in a feud with her and Ivelisse. And I'm a huge Ivelisse fan.
I would cheer for Ivelisse, but it would be something I'd want to see. It'd be great to see Ivelisse and Havoc do some single matches too.
Yeah. I wouldn't be mad at that. Yeah, I want, like I said, I want to see Havoc, Ray. I think Havoc's a guy who could really get over in singles at the top of the middle of the card. And I'd like to see him a little bit higher than that eventually, but I think that still, like, if you give him some just classic luchador style matches, let him work with everyone out of AAA, I think that will just bring his whole thing to another level, which would be awesome. And stay healthy. Don't get hurt like your teammate.
Yeah, please don't get hurt.
I think that's it. Everything I have for this episode of Lucha. But the one thing I want to talk with you about, I don't know if you watched this thing or not. The Evolve promo with Ethan Carter III, EC3.
I read it.
Derek Bateman.
I read some stuff about it.
Look, so if you don't know what happened, Evolve is a WWN show. It's like a IPPV kind of show. WWN has some affiliation with WWE now. They're doing some cross-development stuff or whatever. So this makes Evolve an interesting place because TNA now with their contracts does not have exclusivity on guys. They're doing kind of what Lucha Underground does, where they're bringing them in for solid tapings. They're clearly on the roster. They have contracts, but they are allowed to work elsewhere.
You can do other stuff, but your priority is
your priority is TNA. So, but now WWN has this kind of thing with the WWE going, and I don't know the full extent of it, but NXT talent can go back and forth from NXT to WWN and vice versa. It gives NXT kind of a farm league now that they've kind of been FCW's kind of been absorbed into NXT, and that gives them another level of where to pull from and where to send people to work stuff out. So just like OVW in the past and stuff like that. It's not uncommon at all. So here comes EC3. He comes out and he cuts a promo. And this promo is very good. First of all, it's very interesting. It's a little long. It's a little long in the tooth, but whatever. The wrestling on the rest of the show wasn't all that great anyway, so the promo was kind of worth seeing. And you should look this up on the internet because it's a good promo. So he comes out and he starts cutting this promo and he starts talking shit on Triple H and not being used. And, there's a few WWE talents there too. Johnny Gargano's there. And basically EC3 and Galloway are talking shit about WWE. And it almost sets up this TNA versus WWE feud. But on second viewing of this, I noticed something very interesting. There's no mention of TNA.
Yeah.
And that's got to tell you something, folks. The only group not getting over in this promo is TNA. Evolve gets the rub from this. It's a big deal. TNA guys coming out talking real shit about their time with WWE, how they were mistreated or whatever. I feel like, and a few other people have said this. What? Are we burning down? Are we dying? Are we dying? What is that? Aliens?
My coffee maker may have turned off.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So I think that WWE knew about this promo. I think that EC3 is going to leave TNA. I think that he will probably work Evolve for a little while in WWN, and then I think he will be back on NXT, and I think he's going to get another run in a much different light, and I think that this almost certainly buries the shit out of TNA even more than it already has been buried. That's where I feel this whole promo is going. I think this is a work, people. I do not think this was a shoot promo after all. First viewing, you think it's a shoot. I think this is actually 130% a work.
Well, I'm sure he has the gripes, but I also feel like at this point, really, like all that stuff isn't relevant anymore. Like everyone got Bill DeMott fired twice, and and then like especially for him, he's world champ, I guess, for another show. He's like their main guy.
World champ. He's a champ. Let's just say a champ.
He's the champion of another show. Like he's had a ton of success as soon as he left, and
But his contract's coming up soon. I don't think he's going to re-up.
I just wonder how sour his grapes should be right now, where he's turned out all right, and it's a business of not burning bridges.
But it's also a business of making money.
Yeah,
and I think he's a guy that can do the work to make the money, and whatever the backstage politics are, I think he'll take another shot at it. I think he'll take another shot at trying to get to the big payday.
Well, if WWE can make money with him, they'll sign him and they'll shake his hand.
I think
with
this was a test of that. I think that's what they're doing here. I think they're testing out his heel power and letting him cut a promo on it. Because here's the thing. WWN has very close ties to WWE now. They're not going to book him to come in there and talk shit on Triple H and WWE unless it's okay with WWE.
Right.
There's no way he comes in there and talks that mad shit. Like everyone's like, ooh, he's off the... That promo went on 20 fucking minutes. There's no way they let a guy come in from another organization go that far off the rails. And again, he never mentions TNA
He doesn't mention TNA. He has Galloway with him.
Yeah.
Who is another rehabilitated...
Correct.
Sony's been cast off by WWE. And they're both main event players in the where.
And I think if you're
wrestling.
WWE right now, you're looking at the fact that they need to build some more stars, and this whole NXT, the newest version of the NXT experiment, is working, and it's time to capitalize on that. Triple H has been a fan of it.
And they should call NXT former TNA champs.
Yeah, exactly. Like what, Samoa running around now?
Well, Samoa Joe was Samoa Joe before TNA.
Well, true.
But,
he worked at a lot of
I
places.
mean, TNA kind of did as much as they could to ruin his reputation. But
they did.
But you have,
or else he should have been coming into the main card like AJ. I mean, he shouldn't have been having to even go to NXT in the first place. If you got Samoa Joe didn't get buried, But whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you look at a guy like Brock Lesnar, you look at a guy like Matanza, and you go, who, aside from Mill and Lucha, who's gonna have a realistic match with them? It's Joe, out of any roster that's on TV.
Maybe. If you throw in the shoot MMA kind of ability, yeah, it would be a little more realistic. Though weight class wise, Brock and Joe are not like as big a guy as Joe is. Dude, I've stood next to Brock Lesnar. That man is just a building.
I'm not saying he would win.
No, and but yeah, you need those realistic matchups. You need that kind of thing. I mean, Cena's bigger than Joe, like just size wise. But regardless, yeah, I could actually see that. That would be fun. I would watch the shit out of that. Anyway, so
that's really cool though. And that's a really cool thing to notice about that whole controversial segment.
Yeah, it was just really like it struck me the first time. I just felt like it was going a little bit long, and it's just the thing is, you guys have to know is shoot promos do happen sometimes. People will let it go, but it's usually complete independent people. If when they have big ties to other people, if you see a real shoot and it makes it on TV and they let it go, like believe me, if that had been a real shoot, they would have been sending, Gargano would have been running in sooner. Like the run-ins would have happened a lot sooner. Somebody backstage would have been like, run out there, throw a fucking chair at that guy. Like
if it was a real shoot, they wouldn't have the time booked to do that.
Correct. And they had the time booked to do it. They let it go. It led to another angle. Then, there's 20 million run-ins, and then EC3's on the outside of the ring, and there's like everyone in the ring's cutting promos back at him. Like, guys, it was a work. It was a freaking work. And I think it was a sanctioned WWE work. And the big loser here is TNA.
What if he gets
you got your guys doing work for other companies, for 2 other companies.
Oh God, TNA.
That's how sad. That's how TNA is. Like, wow, you guys are not, you can't even keep your main guys from going and doing work for other companies on their weekends. Like, wow. To me, it's like, if you put over the whole TNA versus WWE thing, that would have been super cool. And that's kind of what they were alluding to. That's not what this was.
No. Well, TNA just, they're going down and down. It's so poorly run. There's no stability. It sucks. I mean, they could have been the number 2 show way back when you have guys like AJ Styles, Joe, and Chris Daniels, having these incredible 3-way matches. They were putting on a different product, and they were putting it on a smaller scale that made the whole thing profitable for them, I think. But it was different. And then they bring in Hogan and Bischoff. And then from then on, it was just constantly changing. Constantly, like, now we're going to do, like, the end days of WCW a year later. Now we're going to do this. Now we're going to be good. Okay, that was bad. Now we're going to be good this time.
Right.
You're like, well.
It's just, it's a shame, too. I just feel like, there's certain things on the wrestling horizon. I don't know where certain things are going to go. I like a little bit of what WWN's doing with like this network of Chinese stuff and American stuff, and kind of bringing together this bigger indie universe. I still don't think the work in a lot of matches is very good. Especially after watching Lucha, it's like I want to be excited about certain indies and certain things that are going on, but it's hard to watch a lot of wrestling for me these days. Maybe I watched too much back in the day, and again, I was a big ECW fan, so there's a certain kind of thing I like. And don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean I like to see guys hurt themselves or do spots that are ridiculous. It does not mean that. But it means that I'm used to a certain kind of pacing and action, like the walking around the ring, the chop fest and the slow work at the beginning of the ring, and seeing guys really shaking off the ring rust. It's just not something I'm really interested in seeing. So a lot of indie performers that are working that style, more of the Southern style wrestling, as I like to call it.
Yeah.
It just doesn't really do it for me very much anymore. But, to each his own. There's stuff out there for me. I can watch Lucha Underground. I can watch New Japan. I can watch AAA. I can watch, NXT. Those are the kind of things I dig a little bit more. TNA, I used to really like TNA. I just don't like, these days,
There's only so much you can watch.
Meh.
Yeah, but you look at...
But I also feel like that about SmackDown. SmackDown is meh, and I love Mauro Ranallo's commentary. They actually have some good matches on there. Just something about that show, I can't do it. Can't do SmackDown.
Anything anything significant that would happen on SmackDown would be done again on the following Monday.
Well, they have to, and that's their big 3-hour live show where everybody's got to cut a 40-minute promo or whatever. So that you can't keep the spoilers off the internet for SmackDown. So, but what that used to mean for SmackDown is that the match quality had to be a certain level.
It was a better show when Heyman was running it. It was a much better show, and sometimes I'll see a spoiler that will make me want to watch SmackDown. And that's the only reason I'll watch it or watch a segment of it.
Well, and they got me to come in for a couple of the AJ matches and for Morrow doing commentary and stuff like that. Like, I've watched more SmackDown recently than I would like to admit. So, well, I got to move on from the wrestling, but there's just a ton of stuff going on in MMA world right now. I was going to kind of get into that with Casey here, but Casey had to leave. So I'm going to kind of fly a little bit solo here. We'll let Byron talk a little bit if he's got some interesting things to say. Do you have interesting things to say?
Probably not.
All right. Well, good. So is the UFC for sale? Like, wow. This is the one that has been going around this week. And there's other big, like, would have been earth-shattering MMA stories this week, like Anderson Silva and Conor McGregor and Mayweather, this, that, and the other thing. But is the UFC for sale? Like, every week with the UFC right now, there's just some huge, ridiculous thing going on. Dana White came out and said that the reports weren't completely true. Here's what I'm going to say. The UFC is for sale. Everything in America is for sale. You buy low, you sell high. They bought the UFC for $2 million, which at the time was like, why are these guys wasting their money? People thought that they were crazy. They thought the UFC was just going to die on the hill, that it was going to get banned everywhere. Senator McCain was messing with it. Like, it didn't seem like it was, I mean, for the price, it was fine. And I think that's why they did it. Dana, pushed his buddies with their deep pockets, the Fertitta brothers. And everyone says, oh, well, the Fertittas want to get out anywhere and buy an NFL team, this, that, and the other thing. People, they cannot buy an NFL team. They own casinos. It's against the rules for owners to own casinos and own NFL teams. Look it up, people. Like, there's so many really, really smart MMA fans out there. Y'all don't know shit about other sports. So I'm just going to say that. The Fertittas are not buying an NFL team anytime soon. Now, maybe if a team comes to Vegas or some things change, but that is a whole bigger process. That is not going to be overnight. They're not looking to get out of MMA to buy a football team. If anything, they'd be looking to get out of casinos to buy a football team. And even then, they have so many ties, it might be difficult. And those are big revenue streams.
Why would you get rid of casinos to buy a sports team? Sports teams don't make money.
They're huge football fans, just like they're huge MMA fans. The Fertittas love the NFL. They're big fans of the sport. But at the same time, yeah, folks, it's not likely. So here's the deal. William Morris Endeavor, whatever, that whatever, how many letters are in that freaking agency now? They may have put in a bid. The report came out on ESPN basically that, this was going down. So that there was credible interest in buying the UFC. Then numbers start getting circulated of $3.5 to $4 billion for the purchase of UFC. Not million, billion. So we're talking a pretty huge markup. Dana White with his 9% share of just 9% of the UFC, he would stand to make like $400 million. Does
Dana White leave the equation if it gets sold?
Well, that's one of the big questions. The answer to that is no. And there's where the real story is. People, I've said this before, the truth is in the middle. I don't think someone's going to buy outright the UFC. And even if they did, I think that you would still see maybe a board scenario or something that kept at least Dana around, if not also Lorenzo. And Lorenzo's a guy who gave up some of his casino interests and stuff that he was doing so he could work more with the UFC because it was finally becoming lucrative, and he does love the sport and the product. Dana and Lorenzo are guys, you have to understand, are fans of this sport. For whatever business decisions, and they're businessmen too. You may not like the stuff that they've done. Dana was an old boxing guy. I mean, this is a guy that he would be nothing without the UFC. He had a great idea. He had buddies with deep pockets who also loved the sport, and they pushed it to another level. For better or for worse, whatever you think of how he runs the business now, you would not be an MMA fan if it weren't for Dana White. There's a certain thing that is owed to him for that. And he's still that kind of guy. Now, $400 million changes a whole lot of things for anyone. Everything is for sale. So Dana says, if somebody is out, like Dana says, no, we're not selling the company. But if somebody's out there with $4 million, get at me, which makes sense. I think that what's happening is they're trying to get a valuation for the company. They want people to maybe put in a high bid that they're not going to really entertain. If they get the company valued at $4 billion, what I believe you'll see then is CMC, the Chinese media conglomerate or whatever they are, and Wanda, who's owned by the richest man in China, one of the richest men in the world, who has invested in FIFA and other sports. He runs a company called Wanda. What I think you'll see happen is they will buy a portion of the company, and then they will also, in turn, help the company expand into China and Asian markets more solidly. That is actually the best case scenario for all of us. If you look at what the movie industry is doing, and Wanda's done a lot of investing there too. If you look at what the movie industry is doing now and the kind of money that movies are making over there, I think the UFC will be a great sport, especially on mobile. I think that UFC Fight Pass over there, with the right kind of push and backing over there, can really make big dollars. You're talking about 100 billion, or you're talking about 1 billion people that could bring revenue to you with a monthly subscription. And like the people in China aren't rich, but the things that they like, and access to, this is the time to get in on the ground floor. NFL can't do this. NBA can't do this. Other sports in our country can't do this. This could set UFC apart. There are countries like Brazil, where UFC is going this weekend, where you have two sports. You have soccer, or football as it's rightfully called, because it's played with your fucking feet, or fighting, combat sports. I mean, that's what you have in Brazil. There's a reason why this Brazil card this weekend is so freaking huge, is because they don't have shit else to watch. And all of their superstars of this one sport are going to be there. I'll talk about that in a minute. So is the UFC for sale? Kind of, I think, is the real answer. I think what you're going to see is, I think Lorenzo and Frank will probably sell off a portion of the UFC to a bidder. I think the hype that's out there right now, and again, just like I was saying with the Evolve thing, if people are talking about it, and you have Dana publicly talking about it, when he's got a huge pay-per-view this weekend that could use a little bit more of a rub in America, but yet he's still talking about this, he's addressing it, he's going on Kevin and Bean, he's going on Dan Patrick's show. He is trying to get the numbers up. There's an NDA that he signed about the deals. They all do that. It's for their own protection. You don't want certain numbers and financials getting out there. You don't want all of this a matter of public record. So he can't just flat out say it. But by building this up, keeping this story going this week in the media, hopefully he's trying to push one of these groups to throw a slightly higher number out there. This is business, people. Absolutely, the UFC is entertaining some kind of either business partnership or selling a stake in the company. They're not going to sell the whole company outright. Doesn't make sense quite yet. Even though they're at the top of the game, it's a very valuable product right now. And it's a little scary to think they might lose Conor or some of these other guys. But look, they made a lot of money this year. They made $600 million. 3 or 4 more years of that, you get up in your billions as it is, So if you're making $600 million profit, it is a good time to sell, but it's also a good time to try to build it a little bit more and maybe leverage some of the company, cash in a little bit, get a little bit of money, and then keep riding it out for a little bit longer. Dana's paychecks are huge. He's got plenty of money. He's really rich. So I'll leave it at that. But I think that, there's definitely a reason when you hear Dana White talking about stuff. Even if you look back at the Conor McGregor situation, he wasn't the one who was talking about that then. He wasn't talking first. Conor talked first, and he only addressed it when he absolutely had to, because Conor wasn't going to show up at that press conference. That's the only reason why you got Dana talking about that. I don't think he wanted to talk about that one because it was something he was trying to keep under the rug. He's talking about this because he wants people to know that money is being thrown their way. It's that simple. Now, speaking of Conor McGregor, and I don't know if you heard about this or not, story came out that there were talks of Conor McGregor fighting Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, I heard about that.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah, but it's also like this guy is making himself such a mainstream attraction.
Well, and that's what it is, people. And don't forget, first of all, Floyd Mayweather, don't get out of the MMA bubble, get out of your combat sports bubble, and remember the fact that Floyd Mayweather is the highest paid athlete in the world. And the way that you do that is you have to have a certain amount of hype going on. In boxing, there's really nothing left. Is he going to fight Pacquiao again? Maybe. And he's semi-retired right now. Getting that 50th fight would be a milestone for him, and everyone thought that at some point he would do that. I believe that he will do that. And I say, why not Conor McGregor?
Oh, for Conor, that's the fight that he should go for, because one, he's going to beat him up. But two, I mean, you're not fighting really to win as much as you're fighting for that payday.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. So here's the way I see that this could go down, people, before we get into the practicality of the situation, which is a nightmare. If Conor fights Mayweather, I believe it's going to be pretty close to boxing rules for Mayweather to do it at this point in time. Now, if it was going to be something more than that, that would come second. First of all, boxing, Floyd will see boxing as safer, especially for him, the way his career has been. And a guy that rich, he is the one who can do the stipulation setting to a certain point because he's the bigger star. And maybe not. To a certain extent, he's going to be the better paid star. He's the guy who can draw more as a star. And Conor draws huge, but we'll get into that. So it would be a boxing fight, which means most likely Conor McGregor would lose. Because you're taking away half of his skills. Not that Conor's great on the ground anyway, but you'd probably be taking away kicks, you'd be taking away positioning, you'd be taking away the thin gloves. He's never knocked somebody out with an 8 or 10 ounce glove or whatever. He's using 4 ounce gloves.
And just throwing the heavier gloves too for round.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure Conor does plenty of boxing and boxing gloves. Most MMA fighters do. But at the same time, it's different when you're in there going against one of the world's best. I would imagine a fight like that would be Floyd Mayweather staying away from Conor, especially when he's got energy, taking him into deeper rounds. And keep in mind that even with shorter rounds, this is more rounds. Conor would have to be up on his bicycle for a long time. And we saw in the last fight how he gassed. They'd have to work out something to make the weights work out right. But you could absolutely have this match. You absolutely could. Floyd would win, and then Conor would just talk shit for the rest of his career about how in an MMA fight it wouldn't have gone down that way, so he'll still get the rub there, and he won't lose that much face in losing in a pure boxing fight to Floyd, and they will both cash these biggest, stupidest checks you have ever imagined. It would be bigger than any of Floyd's fights. A lot of boxing purists hate this because of that fact, but I'm here to tell you, Floyd Mayweather fights Conor McGregor. It is the biggest pay-per-view of all time. It is the biggest sporting event for a long time to come. It will make more money than anyone has ever seen on pay-per-view.
It'd be huge. Is Mayweather under contract to anyone?
No, his Showtime contract is up. He's pretty much his own promotions. Most people think that if he was going to do something like this, he'd still have to go back through Showtime. Conor, however, and this is where it gets tricky, is under a combat contract with UFC. So Dana White has said, if that's the case, and by the way, people, this whole thing is not made up. People thought that this was it might be a little bit of a troll job, but Floyd Mayweather himself, his father talked about it first and kind of slipped and said, oh, Conor would beat that, or Floyd would beat that man Conor, and blah, blah, blah. His dad said some stuff that kind of acknowledged that Floyd had been talking about it. Conor put out his poster showing what the fight poster would look like to kind of amp things up. And believe me, Conor loves this. This is all helping him out with his negotiation, what he's trying to do right now. It keeps him relevant. It shows Dana White that regardless of him being pulled or slapped on the wrist or whatever, that Dana is going to have to reckon with Conor at some point in time, because Conor means money, big money, especially when we're talking about things like this. When we're talking about Conor versus GSP, Conor versus Nate, Conor versus now a boxer, Floyd Mayweather. Yeah. We're talking about these are the things that will draw the biggest money, period. Dana cannot ignore that. As much as he wants to stay a purist to his sport, he cannot ignore this big money stuff. So basically where it stands, and then Dana says, no, it couldn't happen. Floyd, call me if you want something like that to happen. And then, Dana Dana was asked very directly on Dan Patrick and I think on Kevin and Bean here in LA. So would UFC be part of this fight? And Dana was basically saying it'd be under our umbrella. Not necessarily entirely true. Showtime and Mayweather Productions could basically do a co-venture with, and this has happened plenty of times in the past with Golden Boy and Don King Productions, this is a boxing thing. You get one fighter from one promotion, you get another fighter from another promotion. It's not the way the UFC works because they're both a promoter and a league. But for something like this, yeah, you do it under both banners. You either pay a flat fee to get the fighter, like, with what Floyd Mayweather makes for a fight, they could say, here's $100 million. Give me Conor McGregor. UFC and Conor can fight over how they split up the money. We don't care. You give me the fighter for a fight because that's what I want my 50th fight to be. And Floyd's the guy that can do that. Floyd does call Dana up and say, hey, I do want to actually do this fight. It's a special attraction. What's your number? Let's talk numbers. What do we do? Because I'm getting paid a fortune and I know I'm going to beat your guy. It becomes almost a no-brainer for everyone at that point. Everyone thinks this might be ridiculous. I think the scary part is this might not be ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's a lot of money on the table here.
When you look at the situation itself is pretty out there, but when you look at how much money that could be brought in, it seems like the obvious choice.
Yeah, it kind of does. Now, I think there might be a layer of protection for Conor right now. I think Dana would want to see a few things played out first. I believe Dana sees this as something for maybe late next year. But people don't think that this couldn't happen. Don't think that Floyd's people and Conor's people haven't talked either, because I think they have. Mm-hmm. And in fact, Conor hyping it up a little bit and just feeding into it doesn't hurt him at all, especially with his current situation. And he's supposed to talk to Dana White this week, by the way, guys, to figure out what's happening, or early next week. It's just very interesting. Keep an eye on it. It really, really could happen. There's a lot of ways, surprisingly, that it makes sense. Now, don't get your hopes up, because one of those ways that it makes sense is not Conor McGregor beating Floyd Mayweather. MMA fans, this is my love letter to you, telling you right now, I'm sorry I'm breaking up with you, but Conor McGregor does not beat Floyd Mayweather in any version of this fight that they set up, because Floyd Mayweather will never do full contact MMA. Your best bet is that maybe there's some kind of kickboxing or stand-up only type rules where Conor can still throw some leg kicks or something that might leave it in his favor, but I really, really doubt that. The cool thing could be is if it actually happens in an octagon and not a ring, but it's still a boxing match.
Why would Mayweather pick any kind of fight that he would lose at this point in his career?
He absolutely wouldn't.
I mean, he did his fight against Pacquiao well beyond their prime.
Well, a lot of people have also said, though, that maybe if he did it under other rules, that it does protect his legacy as a boxer, so it wouldn't matter.
But it's
and honestly,
not
with
so
the payday,
much...
does it matter? Who cares if he loses?
Well, I wouldn't care. What about his next payday if he goes into a MMA match or some sort of...
But again, his next payday would be back against Pacquiao or another fighter. So it wouldn't... Another boxer, I mean. So it wouldn't matter. I just think that everyone is so protected in the overall grand scheme of this thing. Everyone in the world would look at it as a special attraction. It's like UFC 1, where you go back to, can a sumo wrestler beat a Muay Thai guy? And, this is the art versus art, except we're not going to do open rules like the first UFC. There will be rules to protect Floyd.
Even the officials in the first UFCs didn't know how the fights would go. I remember watching Shamrock tap a guy out, and the ref was looking at Shamrock, why are you holding his foot?
Nobody knew if that was the end of that match. That was great. And then the Hoist Gracie things too is he can choke with his clothing? What are we doing here? Are you allowed to do that? And it was just no one knew. There weren't any rules. They were making him up.
Yeah. But my personal opinion is I think Mayweather is really big about his brand. His brand is him being a winner with stacks and stacks of money. He did WWE. He didn't against their biggest guy, and he didn't look bad or look vulnerable kind of the whole time. They did an entertaining thing, but more or less, he looked like the champ that he is. His fight style doesn't put him up to really get beat up too much, I don't think.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's going to, dude, he will stay away from Conor. He won't go anywhere near that man.
Yeah.
He'll dance around. That'd be the smart thing to do. And then he'll try to connect and point him out after maybe the third or fourth round. I don't even know if he'll care if he wins the first few rounds. He'll let everyone be excited that maybe Conor is pressing forward and maybe Conor's jabbing with a real boxer or something like that. And you get a little bit of that. People will be like, oh, man, Conor's got a chance. And then he'll just start sticking and moving on him in the later rounds and embarrassing Conor as a boxer. And
yeah.
I mean, no MMA guy is a boxing level like Floyd Mayweather. As much as I don't like some of Floyd's fights and they bore the shit out of me,
yeah,
but not a single MMA guy is at boxing level where Floyd Mayweather is.
At some point, you're not going to be able to throw a punch or keep your guard up.
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to happen, and Conor will keep his hands a little too low. I mean, he's not unless he starts sparring with world class boxers overnight, like, and who's even that going to be? You know what I mean? It's just, again, it would go down a certain way. So, other UFC news to get to this weekend: Pride of Cleveland, Stipe Miocic for the heavyweight title, headlining in Brazil. It's going to be great. And wait a minute, I've missed 10 million other Brazilians that are on this card. But all I care about, I'm from Cleveland originally, people, and Stipe Miocic is on this card. And I'm calling it right now. He will be the heavyweight champion of the world, will be Stipe Miocic. He will upset the world in front of 40,000 people when he beats Fabricio Verdum. And yes, it's pronounced Verdum, not Wordum. I've heard people on the radio and like non-MMA people calling him Wordum all week. It just makes my skin crawl.
I have a question.
Your mic sounds funny. So, it's in that mode.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I messed it up.
That's all right.
I'm not a huge knowledgeable MMA person, but one of the first things that I was taught was when you're watching like UFC or watching a show, you always bet on the Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy.
Well, and a lot of people are going to do that. I think Verdum's coming into this fight as a favorite.
Yeah.
And not only is he a jiu-jitsu guy, dude, by the way, Fabricio Verdum is one of my favorite fighters of all time. I sat next to him and Tom Atencio on a plane coming back, who was the guy who used to run Affliction, on a plane coming back from Sturgis one weekend. And I was wearing all my tap out stuff because I used to work on a TV show with those guys. So it was really, really weird. And I'm like, I cannot believe I'm in full tap out and I'm sitting next to the owner of Affliction. This is so fucked up. But Tom was sitting in the middle seat and Fabricio was on the outside seat. There was no first class available coming out of Sturgis because it was after the big bike rally and every seat on every plane was full. And I'm just sitting there and I'm talking it up with those guys. It was so weird that the three of us were in the same row and Hanato Babalu was behind us. And Verdum's English wasn't as good back then. But we were just talking. And he was the nicest guy in the world. I was really stoked when he beat Fedor. I actually won a little bit of money when he won the belt. I'm not a huge gambler, but it was great. I love him, and I can't believe he's got to face my favorite fighter, Stipe Miocic. It's a shame. Pride of Cleveland is going to demolish him. And hopefully whenever Stipe retires, then Fabricio can have the belt back. No, but I'm actually serious. There's some keys here that people will think is crazy. But here's how Stipe can win this fight. Stipe is a better boxer, though Verdum has been putting hands on fools. He put hands all over Kane. He knows how to box now. And it's amazing because that was part of what was missing. He was a great jiu-jitsu guy. He kind of embarrassed Fedor, or surprised him with some jiu-jitsu, but he can throw hands now. Stipe's still better. Stipe is also very underrated as a wrestling. You don't see it very much. Why? Because Stipe's knocking people the fuck out all the goddamn time. You never even really get to see his wrestling. He's got kind of a Chuck Liddell style sprawl and brawl. He's going to be really hard to put hands on. I think what is in Fabricio's favor is the championship rounds. If this fight goes long, maybe Fabricio can pull it off. I would not expect to see a quick victory from Fabricio in this fight. If Fabricio wins, I say it's 4th, 5th round or decision. Stipe wins, I'd imagine it'd be the first couple of rounds. I think, however, Fabricio's faith in his hands right now is going to lead him into a place where he doesn't want to be with Stipe. I think the hype of being in front of 45,000 Brazilians, because this fight's in Brazil, is actually not in Fabricio's favor. I think it's going to get him hyped up to try to put his hands on Stipe, and I think that's a mistake. I think Stipe can outbox him, and he can win this fight very early. So my official prediction is Stipe Miocic by TKO in the late second round. I'm going to be that specific with it. I think he'll beat him. I think he'll hit him, knock him down. Fabricio won't go out. He'll jump on him, ground and pound him late in the second round, maybe around 4 minutes and 21 seconds. So that's my very, 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 very specific prediction for this fight. I'm an idiot from Cleveland, though, so you don't have to put your money where my mouth is. That being said, this card is almost bigger than UFC 200. If you know, like Byron said, people are always telling him, bet on the Brazilian who knows jiu-jitsu. Every single one of them is on this freaking card. Yeah. And I think it's going under the radar. I think this is a better card, especially with Conor McGregor not being on UFC 200, than UFC 200 is. You've got Jacare versus Vitor Belfort, which is a barn burner. Like, Vitor on the feet is fire. Jacare on the ground is fire. Like, if Jacare can get close, this thing's going to be nasty. But Vitor's got some ground skills too. And the real question, I think, for that match is the non-TRT version of Vitor Belfort going to be able to keep up with a in the prime of his career, Jacare Souza? We'll see. Either way, I'm happy to pay money to watch it because those are two top Brazilian stars facing off with each other. And Jacare, when he swings, like, he's got stand-up too. He is all hips. He puts his hips into it. He just turns. It's like one of those old He-Man figures where the torso just whips around. And he could potentially knock out Vitor too, because I think Vitor will be trying to work high head kicks and stuff like that, and it'll put him right in range. So I expect there to be fireworks. You've got Chris Cyborg finally making her UFC debut against Leslie Smith. Leslie Smith fucking asked for this fight, people.
Why? What's wrong with her?
She hangs out with the Diaz brothers. She trains with the Diaz brothers, and I'm here to tell you, up north here in Cali, the sanity level of these fighters is in a different place, man. If you've ever encountered the Diazes or anybody even from their camp, these people like to fight. They like to scrap. They just want to get in there and get ugly. Nobody asks for a fight from a fighter who demolishes almost every one of their opponents in the first round. Chris Cyborg is a beast. Leslie Smith's got to go up 5 pounds. It's at a catch weight of 140. UFC got tired of waiting around to see if she was going to cut down to 135. Ronda Rousey's not around right now anyway, which was the fight they were saving Chris Cyborg for. So Dana White and the boys just said, fuck it. We're putting her on the Brazil card. We'll do it at a catch weight so she doesn't have to come all the way down to 135, but maybe it'll prime her to do that later. Let's get Chris Cyborg in the mix. And there's other fights out there for Chris Cyborg, and I'll get to one of those in a minute. But that's a great fight. Also, I don't really give Leslie a huge chance, but damn, she's so scrappy. She really, maybe she's the one that could expose something in Chris Cyborg that we've never seen before. Maybe she could put hands on her. Maybe she can dance and move faster than Chris. I don't know. Maybe the jitters get to Chris, but Chris can be at home in Brazil, fighting in her first UFC. I expect that to be fireworks. I really think that Chris Cyborg's probably going to try to put Leslie's face into the front row.
She's going to make a statement. I mean, it's her and Ronda really, like, proving who's the best, and they're not in the same weight class, right? So
they're not now. And they both have something to prove. Ronda's got her one loss now, and she's going to have to come back and prove that she's still got something. Yeah. Chris Cyborg's been fighting in Invicta, which really hasn't been giving her the top caliber opponents. So yeah, she's been knocking everyone the fuck out, but since Gina Carano, who's Cyborg fought.
Where's Gina Carano?
Gina is just somewhere being hot.
Yeah.
Oh. No, I mean, they've teased her coming back. I heard Randy Couture talking recently about it, and it's just like, if Gina wants to come back, she could, but, you know, she's in Deadpool or making money, and, like...
She wasn't good in Deadpool.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something wrong with me, but I have a thing for Gina Carano.
I mean,
she looked a little beefy on the American Gladiator side. She looked a little bigger than when last I saw her, but
I don't know. I like her a lot, but I thought that she didn't really do anything in a movie where a lot of people were doing stuff.
Well, I don't think she was supposed to. I think she was supposed to be just the big, intimidating bruiser character, bodyguard. A part normally reserved for a man. I think they just threw it on her, and it gave Negasonic something to deal with too, and it was fine.
Yeah, you look at that and you go, okay, well that payday probably kept her out of the octagon or ring for another
I mean, here's the thing. People don't understand this. People are like, oh, these fighters in movies. Like, look, she's not the highest paid fighter in a movie, but what is the most she ever got paid for a fight? $200,000?
Yeah.
Maybe. I guarantee she got more than that for this movie. $500,000 to $1 million probably. To stand around in the background.
What kind of residuals? Because she's, I don't know how many lines she even had, but she's a name. She's a face.
Yeah. And I'm just, so people don't quite necessarily understand it. Like, why would you not be the biggest fighter in the world for some little side part in a superhero movie? Because the work that you have to put in for the amount of money that you get is just not in the same ballpark. You have to do a lot of work for half of the paycheck, even if you're a top star. Like, the only people getting that movie star money in MMA are your GSPs, maybe Chuck Liddell with all of his sponsorship and extra stuff outside of the ring he had to do because his in-ring guarantee wasn't that much. Maybe a Fedor, pulling in these pay-per-views where he owns part of it. Connor, GSP, I can't even think of that many more who have really hit those huge numbers. Nate Diaz in the last Connor fight with Connor. Robbie Lawler's not getting that kind of money, and he's a champion putting on the most exciting fights in MMA ever. He's not making that kind of money. Like, if he got offered a movie part tomorrow, I would hope to God I would never see Robbie Lawler in a ring again if he got offered a movie part, because he could make a whole lot more money doing a whole lot less damage to his face and brain that he has to do to make his paycheck. Like, fighters don't get paid all that much, people, especially with the current Reebok deal and other things going on. So that's another fight you got on there. Then you got a Shogun Rua fight. It's Corey Anderson. You got Warley Alves, Brian Barberina. Now, sadly, Anderson Silva was scheduled to fight Uriah Hall, which was one of the most exciting fights on the card. It's still a huge card even without that, but Anderson Silva, totally fine, doing UFC embedded, doing training camps. Everyone's watching him on video like 2 days ago. Everything's fine. Then that night, apparently, he went to 2 different hospitals, had a gallbladder situation, had emergency surgery. He's apparently okay and should be able to continue fighting, but this is a guy, he's my age. I won't say how old that is, but it's too old to be a professional athlete for too much longer, especially with a robot shin or calf, and
you probably have
half
no
a
more than
gallbladder.
5 years left in your career.
Yeah, we'll see.
Your cage fighting career.
But anyway, so it's a sad story, speedy recovery to Anderson. I know he wanted to get in there after the Bisping thing, and especially in Brazil, it would have almost completely erased the Bisping thing. And it would have been a win-win for everybody to get Anderson in there with Uriah Hall. I would assume that he would probably win that, but Uriah Hall's got some amazing flashy stuff. It would have been really cool to see Anderson Silva doing his bobbing and ducking and weaving and his rope-a-dope kind of style with Uriah Hall's crazy, flashy, never know what's going to come next, risky style. And we've seen it pay off for Uriah Hall, and we've seen it be a complete catastrophe. Those, my friends, are the kind of fighters you want, and you want to see them succeed enough so that they keep getting big fights even if they don't win, because they're going to make it exciting, just like Robbie Lawler. Robbie Lawler lost a few fights back in the day, but it's what's made him into the exciting fighter he is now, because he is a go-for-broke fighter. I think Uriah Hall has the ability to be that guy. Sadly, we're not going to see that this week because that fight fell off the card. And then there's the Fight Pass headliner, which is Little Nog versus Pat Cummins, I should say. And I'm going to say this about this fight. I think Pat Cummins wins. I know this is another one, he's not going to walk into Brazil and beat a legend. It's Little Nog, first of all, who is a legend, but not quite like his brother. People get them confused way too often. But I think that Pat Cummins, his wrestling and his ability to put hands on Little Nog with his wrestling is actually possibly going to get the job done. And I think this might be the chance for Pat Cummins to actually become a bona fide UFC star. Little Nog's getting pretty far up there in his career too. He's been around a long time and he's susceptible. And I think his chin's softened a little bit. I think him and his brother, I think their chins are not quite what they used to be. And if on the ground Pat can put his hands on him, I think it's a big deal. Last thing I'm going to touch on very quickly before we get out of here. The last UFC was amazing. If you didn't watch it, it didn't seem like on paper that it was going to be that good, but it was huge. And the Dutch went crazy for their own. It was in Rotterdam, Holland. Germaine de Randamie got a huge win. Not because her opponent was huge, Anna Elmos, but because it was at home. She is bred of this Dutch kickboxing thing. That's her thing. I think the crowd might have even popped more for her than other Dutch superstars that were there. It was huge. I think she could be the next opponent for Cyborg also. She was talked about for the Cyborg fight, but she really wanted to fight on this card at home. That would be another good one to do at a catch weight of 140. Germaine cuts quite a bit to get to the 135. So I would love to see that fight. Stefan Struve, the skyscraper, also demolished Bigfoot Silva. And again, Dutch kickboxing. So the crowd's going crazy. He's demolishing him with the Muay Thai knees and really a kickboxing style in front of the home crowd. I love it when UFC does these events on the road and then they're able to showcase what that country loves about their fighting. It's the same thing with the first card in Ireland where all these Irish fighters went over and it was really these brawling Irish kind of fights too. And it was really giving the crowd what they want. And you can't plan some of this stuff because then the second Dublin card was not that. And like half the Irish fighters lost and it was not pretty. And, fights fell apart. But, this was a big success in Rotterdam. So Stefan Struve also went over. And then the big man, Alistair Overeem, beats up Andrei Arlovsky. It settles the whole inner gym feud. Remember, these two guys are the same camp, but Andre was the one who came in with all the coaches, and Alistair kind of had some other people. But Alistair won. I kind of expected him to win. It settles the Jackson's Gym battle. I think Arlovsky still has one or two more chances to come back, maybe put another fight or two under his belt, and hopefully go out on top. I wanted Alistair to win this, though, because I feel like he's a name that if we put him in against Stipe, who's going to win this fight, or Verdum if somehow he pulls it off, I think that would be a great title fight after 198, maybe 206, 207, somewhere down the line. And then another fight that really impressed me was Gunnar Nelson over previously undefeated Albert Tumanov. Most people thought Albert was going to win this fight. I had Gunnar picked to win this fight, but only if the real Gunnar Nelson was going to come back again. And he did. And I actually think that this Gunnar Nelson that we got in this fight was better than the best Gunnar Nelson we've seen yet. Now, he's a training partner with Conor McGregor. And with all the hubbub that went down with them not coming to the press conference and whatnot, part of it was because Conor was helping Gunnar train for this fight. And hopefully Gunnar's training back with him, because the things that Gunnar Nelson did in this fight are the things that Conor McGregor needs to do to beat Nate Diaz when and if that fight happens down the line. It's the wrestling that Gunnar did. It's the overall package. It's the learning how to play the distance on the outside. And Gunnar's body movements looked more like Conor's in this fight. And Gunnar's also in the same weight class that Nate is. I hope to God, somewhere behind closed doors, John Kavanagh has Conor and Gunnar going together. And I hope that that's part of why Conor didn't want to show up for that press, was because he was helping Gunnar get ready for this fight, because it worked. Whatever those guys are doing at SBG for this fight, for this Gunnar Nelson, I want to see them do with the rest of the team. I want to see them do it with Conor, because clearly this is a fighter to be reckoned with. Tumanov was no joke. That guy should have walked through Gunnar Nelson and was not able to do it. Gunnar humiliated him. Love that fight. In other news, BJ Penn is now fighting Cole Miller instead of Dennis Seaver. I hate that for BJ Penn. Cole Miller has a range and a reach that is just not good for BJ Penn. It's disgusting. I hate it. It's a terrible comeback fight for BJ. It scares me. I liked the Dennis Seaver fight way better. I thought it would be scrappy, fun fight. I don't think this fight's even going to be fun. I don't like how it's going to look in my mind. It's just really, it's a much, much worse matchup. And I don't think it does much for Cole. I mean, I know Cole needs a big name under his belt. Maybe it does really help Cole. I just don't think it helps BJ at all. Not the fight I wanted to see. And the final bit of news for this week, the next Ultimate Fighter is going to be flyweights. We already heard that the winner is probably going to face Demetrius Johnson, the champion. The two twists that were released information-wise this week are that they're going to do 16 fighters. They're going to sign them into the division, it looks like, and they're not going to make them fight to get in the house. The 16 fighters that are announced will just go into the house, and then they will be trained, and then the winner of this whole thing gets to fight DJ. The really, really strange part about it is the two coaches are now Joseph Benavidez and Henry Cejudo, two guys who have been pretty well picked apart by the champion Demetrius Johnson. So you've got two guys who failed to beat this guy who are now going to be training the next 16 guys who are going to try to beat this guy. I don't know if it makes sense. Maybe it doesn't. All I know is now you're definitely creating a boiler, a hot pot of all the flyweights together in one room, basically all trying to get to DJ at some point in time. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of unique. I don't entirely understand it. It's a weird thing. So either it will kind of rejuvenate the division or maybe it'll kill it once and for all. I don't know. That's it for me. You got anything else you want to talk about this week, Byron?
I think you raised a lot of good points. I agree with most of them. I think, though, we should revisit Casey and just go over the fact that he's a bitch.
Who's Casey?
Yeah.
Empty chair.
Empty chair. Casey, if you are not a bitch, you have now to speak your case. I'm
going with bitch.
All right. Well, it's straight from his mouth.
He didn't. Yeah, he did. You could have spoken up for yourself, Casey. You were on the podcast today. You could have said something for yourself. But...
Surprised he didn't say anything about all the MMA stuff you're talking about.
Yeah, I was really hoping to get a lot of good input from him about all this exciting MMA stuff because he's a big MMA fan. And
yeah, he just sat there and ate all the cookies he brought for us.
It's a shame I couldn't get Vinny here because Vinny would have really, really lit him on fire for doing this to us again.
Shout out to Vinny.
Yeah, Vinny, we got to get you back on the show. Maybe I'll have Byron record a segment for you for next week's show if you're in town tonight while I'm otherwise preoccupied as always. Vinny's going to kill me one of these days, man. Every time he comes to town, I'm like nowhere to be found. He totally broed me out with an Ultima Lucha ticket last year when I didn't sign up soon enough. And he's totally been a bro and saved me on the podcast a couple times. And then every time he's in town, it's I can't go out. I can't come out and play. I'm so sorry. And I wasn't even at the Saturday taping last time when he was actually at Lucha Underground for the Saturday taping. I couldn't even go that day. I suck almost as much as Casey. I'm so sorry, Vinny.
Well, hanging out with Casey always makes you feel better about yourself.
Yeah. But I do consider, Vinny kind of the unofficial fourth co-host of this show. He was our very first guest, and he's always been a big big supporter of ours, and so we support him right back. And then, our Last Real Heels buddies. Urban wants to come on the show at some point in time, too. I got to get Urban on the show.
Hey, we got to do a joint thing.
I want Urban to talk video games with Casey.
Yeah. But here's what we do though. We just all get together and do something, and then we actually put it out, as opposed to the last time G-Man was in town and we recorded something and then just never did anything.
Oh, you guys are the worst. You guys need me, because you need me standing over all of you, just saying, no, we have to do this now. We will do this now. We will record it, and it will be good, and we will put it out.
We recorded it Saturday, and then we listened to it on Sunday and thought, the levels are really good. Hey, this will be really funny. And then it's just still on someone's iPad who isn't doing anything anymore.
Oh, I see how that works.
Yeah.
Maybe I can get him to email me that file because he doesn't hate me like he hates everyone else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, no, because then we'd be getting the rub and he wouldn't. No, we'll make him come back and do it one of these days. But, hey, maybe they'll come to town for Ultima Lucha and we'll do, maybe everyone will be here. Maybe we'll get every Lucha podcaster together for one giant gangbang podcast. Maybe we can we'll
put one mic in the center of a room.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if any of those other guys actually get out here for tapings.
The heels will be out here.
The heels will be out here for sure.
They're the only ones that I know. Other people will come out to the tapings.
Well, maybe we'll just do a big gangbang podcast with Heels and us. Hopefully, if they're in town long enough, there'll be some time.
I want to shout out to the Heels. I stole their gimmick this morning, and I spiked my coffee at 9 a.m.
Man, this show's making more and more sense all the time. Like, I wonder why my back hurts when I'm finished with this show from doing all the heavy lifting. It's because Byron takes time off, and then he comes in sipping tainted coffee. Casey is off, like, trying to have a real life and get a real job and this, that, and the other thing. And, like, last week he was, like, doing fun stuff with his dad. Like, he was taking his dad to the movies. Like, so
he was taking his dad to the hospital.
No, he wasn't.
He was.
I thought they were going to the movies.
Doctor.
Oh, well, that makes it different. I actually feel for a little.
Yeah.
I thought he said he was going to the movies. Maybe they went to both. Maybe it's like, hey, go get a checkup and taking a flick.
No, he took him to the hospital doctor for some sort of thing, and I think everything's fine. And then he drove back down here. Like he did a lot of driving. He lives in Castaic.
Yeah, he does not. Just so you guys know, Casey does not live close. Like the fact that the three of us in any way, shape, or form have actually been able to get together to do this podcast recently is amazing. Anyway, we'll stop taking up your valuable time, people, even though I know you love to hear us talk about nothing. Hopefully all of our rants and interesting things about Lucha Underground, the Lord Big Boss, the EC3 thing in Evolve, the UFC talk, UFC for sale. Hopefully all this stuff has been interesting to you. If it's not, why the hell are you still here after the 2-hour mark on this fucking podcast?
Oh, you know, it'd be great. EC3 versus Bill DeMott. Like our 2 main event
of
Raw.
Can he be Hugh Morris again? Just for that?
Oh, what if... No, I think he has to wear like the NXT sweatshirt or the...
Got to put over current product. We'll see. We shall see. But quote me on it. Stipe Miocic wins this weekend. EC3 comes back into the WWE family. And the big boss is Hornswoggle. Quote me on it. All right, people. We're out of here. Until next time, stay calm and stay in the mix.